months ago here in Winnipeg, Tom Clements fired this 27-yard touchdown strike to James Murphy in the early moments. It opened the floodgates as the Bombers won 56-0. Sweet revenge for the Roughriders last Sunday in Regina. With 22 seconds left, Joe Pow unloaded a 56-yard bomb to Ray Elgart. It gave Saskatchewan a dramatic 34-30 triumph. To add to the Bombers' woes in Regina, in the third quarter, their #1 quarterback, Tom Clements, suffered a separated shoulder, which puts him out for the season and places the burden of responsibility on veteran John Hufnagel. This super rivalry continues with the rubber match of a best-of-3 tonight, and the much-improved Riders will endeavor to do something they haven't done in 4 years, beat the Bombers in their home park. Live from the Winnipeg Stadium, CTV's Friday Night Football presents the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Hello again, everybody. Al McCann greeting you from Winnipeg, and I think we've got a dandy for you on this Friday night. You know, these two teams really exemplify the unpredictability of the CFL season in '86. Bombers win in a blowout. Saskatchewan bounce back and win the next game. And we've got John Hufnagel starting at quarterback. He's kind of earned a reputation as a relief pitcher. He hasn't started a game since last October, and ironically, that's the last time Winnipeg lost a home game. Mind you, on the other side of the coin, Saskatchewan haven't won here in Winnipeg in 4 years, so just about anything can happen. Kind of a chilly night for the football game. They've had some rain and some wind in the Winnipeg area. Right now it is overcast. We have light wind blowing, but it is quite chilly, but I think the rain will stay away. Jim Zorn, by the way, the most recent Winnipeg acquisition, is dressed, but we don't think he'll see any action tonight, particularly with two quarterbacks ahead of him in the rotation. For more on the matchup, let's go upstairs and meet Dale Isaac and Frank Rigney.
All right, Al, thank you very much. Hello again, and welcome to Friday Night Football here on CTV. John Hufnagel is actually the man on the spot, a 14-year veteran, but he doesn't really have an enviable record as a starter with the Bombers at 1-3 coming into this one.
Bill, he does change, I think, the Winnipeg offense a little bit, too. Although Cal Murphy and his coaching staff won't admit it, he is not as mobile as Tom Clements is, and consequently, he's a much easier target for the defensive pass rush, which Saskatchewan did so very, very well last week against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I think that creates additional pressure for the Winnipeg team to do something on the ground, and that means James Sykes. Willard Reeves, of course, is out for 2 months and will not see any action, obviously. So Sykes, I think, has to have a big football game tonight, rushing the football for Winnipeg to take some of that pressure away from John Hufnagel.
Well, if you want to talk about the rushing game, you have to look to the Saskatchewan Roughriders because they have the CFL's leading rusher in number 26, Bobby Johnson. He also leads the league in touchdowns rushing.
Well, he's done an excellent job. He has 8 touchdowns in total, and only James Murphy of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers has more than that. He has 9. I think that the Saskatchewan Roughriders definitely have an advantage when you're rushing the football. But I do think, seriously, Winnipeg has to do something to take that pressure off Hufnagel.
And the Saskatchewan Roughriders credit the play of Denny Ferdinand for opening things up for Bobby Johnson as well. On the defensive side of things, the Roughriders possess, of course, the star of the week defensively. Billy Jackson, at linebacker, had a key interception and was in on the sack that injured Tom Clements last week.
Well, particularly in the last half of that ball game when these two teams met last week, the Riders put excellent pressure on regardless of who the quarterback was for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And if they do that again tonight, it's going to be a long day for the Winnipeg offense.
Billy Jackson is having a great year, but I think the guy that is emerging as a real leader defensively for Saskatchewan is number 99, Nick Hebler. He leads the team in sacks. He's a real character, and all of a sudden, he has perked up that defense.
Well, he is a character, really one of the fun guys in the Canadian Football League, unless, of course, you're an opposing quarterback, because Nick probably puts as good a pressure on a quarterback as any defensive tackle or defensive end in the Canadian Football League. They're going to have to block him, obviously. But they have excellent people in linebacking spots as well. In fact, both teams do. Ty Jones will not be in the lineup for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, so they definitely do lack that rushing power.
To emphasize the importance of this football game tonight in the Western Division, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at 5-4. Calgary Stampeders have the bye this weekend. They're 5-5. Saskatchewan at 4-5, hoping to create a 3-way tie for that 3rd spot in the Western Division. So it's a good Friday night matchup here at Winnipeg Stadium. The Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers meeting for the 3rd time in 1986, and it is the rubber match.
coming at you. Premium quality, fully matured. So get moving to that real beer taste.
When you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till you're gonna need somebody to lean on.
Chevy, the trucks you can lean on. Way to go, Chevy.
Join Gina Woolley in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
The head official tonight, Ross Perrier, the 52-year-old Scarborough, Ontario native, in his 15th season of refereeing in the CFL. Ably assisted tonight by Bill Jones, Don Ellis, Art McAvoy, Bob Bryan, and George Black. And there is the much talked about left-handed quarterback, former Seattle Seahawk Jim Zorn, in uniform tonight, having signed a contract with the Bombers yesterday. He is not expected to see any action. And while you take a look at Zorn, we'll tell you right now that the Blue Bombers have just announced that wide receiver Jeff Boyd has agreed to contract terms, and he will be arriving in Winnipeg over the weekend. Just what they need, more receivers here in Winnipeg.
Well, he caught 76, 65, and 50 passes in the last 3 years he was here, so he definitely would be a factor for them.
The kickoff by the Riders goes to the Bombers. Kevin Nealis trying to come around his near side. He slips and goes down as he crosses the 30-yard line. They'll spot it near the 33, and that's where the Blue Bombers will go on offense to get this football game underway. A 21-yard return. John Huffnagel replacing the injured Tom Clements, who is gone for the season. He says he'll be back in 1987. In the backfield with him, James Sykes, of course, replacing the injured Willard Reeves, as we talked about, and Pat Kantner also in there. The 13-year veteran out of Penn State, getting his first start in 1986, puts it up early, completes it to Murphy. Out at the 43-yard line, very close to a first down, as Huffnagel laid that one in there nicely, just over the head of Eddie Ray Walker and in front of Trent Bryant, providing the coverage on the play. It's a first down quickly for the Bombers.
He's got a good big offensive line in front of him, so they need a big night tonight to protect John.
That hit screen to James Murphy, and that'll go for a loss on the play. Coming up with the football after the play was whistled dead was Glenn Suter, number 27, but Mike Magruder was there along with Fran McDermott. They defensed it well. The Bombers, of course, in that opening meeting of the two here in early July, won 56-0. They scored their first touchdown of the night on that hitch screen to Murphy. The Riders ready for it that time. So it's second down and about 12 yards to go, a loss of 2. The ball at the Winnipeg 42-yard line. Huffnagel going deep for James Murphy. He's got him. Brought down from behind by Trent Bryant at the 15-yard line. A big play for the Blue Bombers.
And what a great throw by John Huffnagel. Just set up very quickly and all the time to throw it that he needed. And a perfect strike to James Murphy. 53 yards for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And this Bryant has some speed, Dale, to catch Murphy like that. Just a saving tackle just inside the 15-yard line. What a great throw by John Huffnagel.
John Huffnagel in his first start in 1986 opens up very impressively. 53-yard gain. Calls the draw now to James Sykes to the 5-yard line. Ball pops loose. The Roughriders, Rick Goltz has got it. Goltz pitches it out. Billy Jackson's now got it, and he's brought down at the 10-yard line. The Rough Rider defense comes up with a very important turnover early in the first quarter after a big play by the Bombers, and the Rough Riders steal it away from Winnipeg at their own 10-yard line.
Adele, a good offensive play for Winnipeg. They had a hole wide open for James Sykes. He had gained 8 or 9 yards when that ball was stripped away from him, and I believe it was Billy Jackson that pulled the ball loose. Goltz picked up the fumble and a big turnover for the Saskatchewan Roughriders at their own 10-yard line. Boy, an exciting football game.
Whoa.
It continued last week's contest already in the first 2.5 minutes.
34-30, the final score last Sunday at Taylor Field as Joe Pauw hit Ray Elgard. And you see Pauw out there at the offense, and we'll be right back in just a moment. No score in Winnipeg.
General Motors' spectacular summer seat sale is here. 6.8% financing on new Pontiac Acadians, Fieros, Chevy Chevettes, and Novas. 9.9% financing and special deals on other selected new GM cars and pickups. Hurry, seats are going fast. Seat sale on for limited time only.
Cooper has always given you the best protection in hockey. Now we've got you covered right down to the ankles. Introducing new Cooper Ruse skates with our exclusive Cooper Comfort Wedge. It supports and locks your heel and ankle into place for a long-lasting, comfortable fit. Because better fit means better skating power and control with every stride. Ask for Cooper Ruse with the Cooper Comfort Wedge. The world plays hockey with Cooper.
Saskatchewan Roughriders, after the turnover at their own 10-yard line on first down, Pauw pitched to Bobby Johnson, and he managed to pick up just 1 yard on the play. Hassan Arbubacher defeats the van, making the tackle.
Good job by James West 58 of turning him back into the inside.
So it is 2nd down and 9. A bit of a surprise with Pauw starting at quarterback tonight. Setting up the screen. Denny Ferdinand is stopped shy of the 20-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down, Saskatchewan. Tracy Mack, number 61, the man replacing Tyrone Jones for the 2nd straight ball game, stops him short of 1st down territory, so the Roughriders will send on the punting unit on 3rd down, and it's actually about 2 yards to go. They spot the ball near the 18-yard line. So that'll bring on Stan Gelbaugh, the new punter for Saskatchewan. His first game last week against Winnipeg, he averaged 42.6.
I wonder if we can go down to Al McCann and ask what the effect of that wind is, Al. Will it favor Saskatchewan, or is it a crosswind?
Right now, it is favoring Saskatchewan, but Dale, you were dead right. Billy did make the strip on that ball. I was talking to him, and he said he got his hand on the ball and yanked it loose.
Kevin Nealis with the football for the Blue Bombers, and Mark Ernest was the first man down there. Then he got help from Scott Reddle and Joe Fuller to finish him off. A 56-yard punt that time by Stan Gelbaugh. And, of course, punting has been a sore spot with the Roughriders this year. And, again, the offensive lineup for the Blue Bombers. Hufnagel, the starting quarterback, looking very impressive in their first drive, hitting James Murphy 3 times to take it to the 10-yard line, and then they turned it over. Sykes had the ball stripped. And the receiving corps, Tuttle and Murphy, the wideouts, Erdman and Poplawski inside. Joe Poplawski, by the way, will also handle the place-kicking duties tonight for Winnipeg. They have released young Paul Esbaldiston, and he is now hoping to latch on with Hamilton.
Murphy and Tuttle have both had big games against the Riders in both their encounters so far this year.
Let's go!
Hufnagel on 1st down, finding Jerome Erdman open. Billy Jackson makes the tackle at the 49-yard line. It's a gain of 11 yards, another 1st down for the Bombers. So they don't look like they are missing a step offensively so far here in this ball game. There's that offensive line Frank was just talking about. And the defensive line for Saskatchewan, Steve Wilburn playing only his 2nd game for the Roughriders in '86 since returning from an injury. 1st down from the 49. They call a draw to James Sykes. This time the Rider middle stacks it up. Steve Wilburn was there along with Gary Moten and Rick Goltz. And there'll be a loss of a yard on the play.
Now you'll see the Riders really come after John Hufnagel, and there's some of the people that they really like to bring, the linebackers, Lowe and Jackson, particularly from the outside. We saw Trent Bryant beaten earlier by Murphy, but these two rookie corners of the Saskatchewan Roughriders can do a good job for them.
Second down and 11 for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Again, it's Sykes picking his way up the middle. Very close to a first down as the Bombers cross up the Rider defense.
He's got it.
And go to a run, and it looks like he's got a first down. He does. On second and 11.
Well, you don't see that too often in the Canadian Football League by anybody. And if anybody runs the ball successfully on second down, it's usually the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
First and 10 once more for Winnipeg. The ball now at the Saskatchewan 51-yard line. They call the reverse. This is Sean Keogh hurdling one tackler, and a flag comes down. Keogh went out of bounds at the Saskatchewan 41, so he's a little bit shy of a first down. They're going to bring it back, holding against Winnipeg.
James Sykes was down there in front of him and looked like he put an excellent block on one of the Riders, but the holding was further upfield.
Frank, I was watching that play just before that when they ran the draw play on second and 11. Gary Mooten almost stripped the ball loose. Those Saskatchewan linebackers are doing a good job of getting at the ball carrier.
Winnipeg, number 62, first down repeated.
That's left tackle Richard Nemeth, number 62, and that'll put the ball back at the Bomber 49.5-yard line, where it's first down over again, 20 yards to go. Big difference in field position there. Kehoe had taken the ball to the Saskatchewan 41. Poplawski, number 71, goes in motion right. Hufnagel, the straight drop, looking for Poplawski. He's got him. And Glenn Suter, the safety, the coverage on the play, knocks him down just inside Saskatchewan territory. So the gain is about 6, maybe 7 yards at the most.
Excellent example of man-to-man coverage. You saw the safety Suter coming over and taking the inside man, Poplawski, as he broke outside, and his timing was just great. It'll be second and 13, almost 14 for John Hufnagel and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who have moved the ball well so far, but a turnover and penalties have hurt them.
This is their second drive of the opening quarter. There's no score. The Bombers were down to the 10-yard line, but fumbled it away. Pressure on Hufnagel, makes a nice move and going deep again. Jerome Erdman, Eddie Ray Walker back there to break it up. Good defensive play by Walker. It'll be third down Winnipeg. Eddie Ray Walker, and they really spread around the interceptions in that Rough Rider secondary. We'll get another look at what's happening up front with Hebler.
See, Sykes not doing a bad job on Nick Hebler. And Hufnagel did a pretty good job of avoiding the rush, but the ball was incomplete, so we'll have Bob Cameron come in to punt it away for the first time for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Into that breeze, and he's as good as anybody at kicking into a wind. Not this time, no. Gets a good roll. Derek Zeno at his own 20-yard line and steps out of bounds with it right at the 22. So we have 7.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. There's no score. We'll be back to Winnipeg in just a moment.
If you're a young Canadian thinking about where you're going, you're beginning to see the obstacles. The high cost of university, the difficulty of learning a high-tech trade. Think about the Canadian Armed Forces. We need you. We'll help you get a degree or learn a skill and guarantee you a job. Visit a recruiting center and talk to us. It's your choice, your future. The Canadian Armed Forces.
All right, we're back. First quarter, Winnipeg Stadium. Dale Isaac with Frank Rigney and Al McCann, and the Blue Bomber offense on the bench right now. The defense back out there following a 35-yard punt by Bob Cameron. That is Jim Zorn right there at the lower right-hand part of your screen. He's just been in town since Tuesday, signed a contract yesterday, in uniform tonight, but not expected to see any action. Joe Pawpaw with the Riders' second series from the 20-yard line, first down, throws to Bobby Johnson. Johnson makes the catch out at the 29-yard line, a gain of 7 yards on the play as Johnson had beaten linebackers Tracy Mack and James West out there. Second down and about 3 yards to go.
They do a pretty good job of putting pressure on Pawpaw, who also is not really that mobile of a quarterback, and they'll bring linebackers quite often. You see Fowler and Moulton both coming on this player. Patterson, I should say, 76, but Saskatchewan picks him up.
So it's second down and 3 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders at their own 29. The give is to Bobby Johnson. Good blocking up front, and he sprawls forward to about the 33-yard line. And he should have enough for the first down, depending on where he gets the spot. It is a first down, Saskatchewan. That is their initial first down of the ball game. Bobby Johnson, the CFL rushing leader, with 537 yards coming into tonight's game.
Great second effort by the 190-pounder from San Jose State.
Come on, Joe.
6:38 now remains in the first quarter. We have no score.
Johnson operating with a bit of a bruised shoulder. They weren't sure even yesterday afternoon whether or not he would play. Mike McTagg made a great effort for that football, but it is ruled incomplete. He just never really had control of it. It is second down and 10 from the 33. The ball was thrown high. McTagg, a former Stampeder, former Montreal Alouette, starting tonight, as he did last Sunday, in place of the injured Tony Dennis. And Dennis, until he was injured, was the Roughriders' leading receiver.
Boy, he had almost 500 yards in passing yardage, Tony Dennis.
So it is now second down and 10, Saskatchewan. Good protection, Pawpaw to the safety man, Bobby Johnson. He's stopped at the 40-yard line by Roy Bennett. But there is a penalty marker downfield. Interference against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It'll be first down, Saskatchewan, and they'll maintain possession of the football.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 72. First down.
Delbert Fowler on Ray Elgard.
Well, they had a game plan of trying to stop Elgard from getting away from that line of scrimmage free and clear, and that's what happens sometimes. Penalties and mistakes have been hurting the Bombers so far.
Ray Elgard, of course, the big man last week for Saskatchewan. As a result, he was the offensive star of the week in the CFL with 8 catches, 2 touchdowns. Here's Pawpaw with a straight drop, good protection. Dumps it off to Denny Ferdinand, and he'll have a gain of about 4 yards on the play out to the 44. Delbert Fowler in on the tackle. There is a penalty marker down in the offensive backfield.
Holding against the Riders is the initial indication, as they say.
So they're going to back him up. It'll be first down over again, 20 yards to go from the 30.
You'll see that number 38 on the left shoulder of
Holding. Saskatchewan number 68.
Ross Perrier and all of the officials. That's in honor of Lauren Woods, who was an official in this league for almost 2 decades, who passed away last December. And his cohorts are honoring him. Number 38.
Here's Pawpaw on first down and 20, rolling away from coverage and going for Elgard. Interference.
Oh, no question about that.
No doubt about it. That was Ken Haley who made contact with Elgard before the ball got there.
About 5 or 10 yards before the ball got there.
We should mention, too, some changes in that Bombers secondary.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 24.
Look how open
First
Elgard
down.
was initially.
It's hard to believe that a guy Elgard's size can get behind defensive backs as consistently as he does. He's 225 pounds, but you saw him last week with 22 seconds left to go. He took the football game right away from the Bombers by getting deep.
Wiley Turner is not playing tonight. He's been replaced on the roster by Benny Thompson. Pawpaw, ball's tipped. It goes incomplete. Oh, Ken Haley had a shot at an interception, and he couldn't squeeze it.
I think he was hit by his own teammate, James Jefferson, and the ball was knocked loose. What a break for the Riders.
Again, Pawpaw throwing the ball high. Derek Zeno, the intended receiver.
Watch this ball all the way up in the air. It looks like an easy interception. Got to call for it, guys.
That is the way they practiced it all week long, right? The tip drill.
That looked like a couple of outfielders, didn't it?
Denny Ferdinand is the injured Rough Rider. All three running backs for the Rough Riders are nicked a little bit. Bobby Johnson has a bit of a bruised shoulder. David Conrad has a sore knee that tends to stiffen up on him if he's on the sidelines for very long. And Denny Ferdinand has assorted bumps and bruises. So they're all hurting just a little bit, but I guess most running backs in any league are going to be hurting because they get hit an awful lot.
Well, Saskatchewan would dearly love to take advantage of the wind that they have here in the first quarter and get some points on the board because it could die down. The forecast is for the wind to die down and be almost calm before the evening is too much older. So Saskatchewan would like to strike while they have it.
No score. We'll be back in just a moment.
For 30 years, you've invited us into your home. Now, Czech Television invites you to come on over to our home, Vancouver Island. Bring your Expo holiday across the water and see what makes us proud.
Thank you. Goodbye. Come on over.
Vancouver Island's within easy reach, and you'll love it. We do.
Come over to Vancouver Island.
Elk Lake Sports Victoria. Let us get you ready for fall and winter sailing, the best sailing of the year. Elk Lake Sports. Sail yourself into shape for skiing with our September clearance packages.
In the opening quarter, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Second down, 10 yards to go at the Winnipeg 40-yard line. Joe Paupau, the starting quarterback tonight, will operate out of the shotgun. Down the middle, Elgard makes the catch. He's cut down immediately by Benny Thompson, number 37. And the big guy a little slow in getting up, but he's got a gain of 15 yards. And Elgard may not be getting up. Very, very slowly, favoring that right leg.
Oh, what a great target he is, Odell, at 6'3", and the ability to go up for the football. He knew he was going to take that shot. Benny Thompson, the rookie from Grambling, hitting him just as after he took that reception.
Uh-oh, we have some jawing going on now between Elgard and the Bomber defense. There's a little bit of bad blood between these two teams after last weekend. Of course, Clements being hit and suffering a separated shoulder, which needed an operation, and he is gone for the season. Elgard, a guy that really hurt the Bombers with that game-winning touchdown in the last 22 seconds.
Well, it was an unfortunate hit on Elgard, but it certainly wasn't illegal or questionable by any means. What a day he had against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He had 8 receptions for 155 yards, and of course 2 touchdowns in that ball game.
Slowly makes his way to the Saskatchewan Roughrider bench. So that'll bring young James Ellingson into the lineup, number 85, a rookie, and only his second game. Paupau. Bobby Johnson drops it coming out of the backfield at the 20-yard line. Bobby Johnson usually has pretty reliable hands. That time unable to squeeze it. Second down and 10 from the 25.
Both of these offensive lines just doing an excellent job of giving time to their respective quarterbacks. You saw a great block there by Neil Quilter on Delbert Fowler as he came in to rush.
Neil Quilter, the right offensive guard, operating with a very painful toe injury that he's just going to have to play with for the rest of the season and then have an operation after the season's over. Out of the shotgun, second down. Conrad in the middle. Gets to the 15-yard line, should have a first down as he more or less slipped the tackle of Delbert Fowler, but Fowler did get enough of him to bring him down. It looks like we're going to need a measurement here.
Well, what a great job of a read. If we start this up right now, you'll see Benny Thompson, number 37, coming on a halfback blitz, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders just do an excellent job. Stop it there. He's coming right in the middle of your screen there, and they do an excellent job of picking him up and giving Joe Paupau time to throw over the middle, the area that he had vacated. Good job by the veteran Joe Paupau, who in his 9th year in the CFL. And there you see it even better. Benny Thompson, 37, the rookie.
Saskatchewan's number 1 and 2 quarterbacks, however you want to place them, either Pow and Quarles or Quarles and Pow. In the case tonight, it's Pow and Quarles. Joe is passing at 60.3% and Quarles at 58.9%.
Quarles has yet to throw an interception in 1986.
Pow will keep on 3rd down. He should have enough for the chain gang to move. He only needed an inch or two.
Dale, while you have a moment, I might update you on Denny Ferdinand and Ray Elgart. Both had similar injuries. They bruised their knees. The medical staff have checked them over. Ferdinand's okay. Right now, Elgart's trying to run out a little bit of stiffness. I think they'll both be back in the game shortly.
For the moment, it is James Ellingson, replacing Ray Elgart in the slot, as you see Elgart at the sidelines. And it is David Conrad in the backfield along with Bobby Johnson. So the Roughriders on the move here inside the Bomber 15-yard line. 1st down. Pow into the middle. David Conrad is there again, and he's brought down at the 6-yard line by linebacker James West. It'll be a gain of about 8 yards on the play. Saskatchewan looking at 2nd and 2.
Boy, Joe is just doing an excellent job of reading those blitzes and dumping that ball off over the middle. Winnipeg seems intent upon bringing those linebackers almost every play. And Joe sees that opening right over the middle. That time to Conrad, successful down to the 6-yard line.
Short yardage unit in there. 2nd down and about 2 yards to go from the 6. Ferdinand leading the way for Johnson, gets outside. Bobby Johnson, touchdown, Saskatchewan. His league-leading 9th rushing touchdown of the season. And the Riders open the scoring here in Winnipeg.
And
Good
once
call.
again, Dale, as you had mentioned prior to the ball game, Denny Ferdinand leading Johnson as he does on most occasions. Watch number 30 in front of him. He stacks up a couple of bombers, gets a stalemate right at the line of scrimmage, and Johnson uses that speed to get to the outside. It's been a good offensive football game so far in the 1st quarter, although that's the first score of the game.
Scoring drive of 88 yards in 9 plays. The Riders picked up 6 first downs in the drive. 6-yard score by Bobby Johnson. The conversion by David Ridgway. 7-0. Saskatchewan leading Winnipeg with less than 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. So as Al mentioned earlier, the Roughriders wanting to get on the scoreboard while they have the wind at their backs here in the 1st quarter. Long drive for the Riders. 5 minutes, 53 seconds. And of course, the all-important score at the end of it.
Ferdinand got that great block on Ken Haley, who, by the way, leads the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in tackles. That's rather unusual. It's usually a linebacker, but in the Bombers' case, it's a defensive back, Ken Haley.
Ken Haley's 25, and he is the oldest man in the secondary for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They've really gone through some changes with James Jefferson on the corner now in place of David Shaw. Haley has moved to right half from left half. Benny Thompson's in at left half. Wiley Turner out of action because of an injury. Here's Ridgway to kick it off following the touchdown. Kevin Nealis waiting for it, 15-yard line. Nealis averaging 23.5 yards per return this year. Got a couple of nice blocks, and he's finally forced out of bounds. Joe Fuller making contact with him, and he steps out of bounds right at the Bomber 29-yard line. A 14-yard return for Nealis. So the Rough Rider coverage unit certainly does its job that time.
He seems like he's running an awfully long way for the yardage that he's picking up on those kickoff returns. 1:30 now remains in the 1st quarter.
1st and 10 Winnipeg at their own 29. Across the middle to Joe Poplawski. Hit by Glenn Sutter and a couple of others, and he'll have a gain of about 9 yards on the play. Quick little look in to the slot back Poplawski.
How great Ronnie Lancaster was at that, Dale. You remember? He just was able to find that opening so quickly. Give him a little seam, he's going to throw that little quick slant in or quick look in every time.
And of course, a good receiver like Poplawski is there looking for it. 2nd down and actually less than a yard to go for the Bombers. The give right up the middle to Pat Kantner, and he'll have a 1st down as he crossed the 40-yard line before Billy Jackson and company push him back. The Bombers moving the ball a little bit again in offense. They have moved it here in the 1st quarter. took the opening drive right down to the 10-yard line, but James Sykes had the ball ripped away from him. And the Rider defense turned it over. And Saskatchewan leads 7-0 with 30 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Farmers going into that win. And there's Gary Lewis jumping way offside. Hufnagel's going to go ahead and throw the ball anyway, looking for Poplawski. Now, was he drawn off, or is it a procedure call? It's against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It'll be first down and 5. That'll move the ball out to the 45-yard line, make it the 46. David Taylor, a youngster with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, number 79, has just checked into the offense, replacing Erdman. Here's the penalty call.
Offside. Saskatchewan, number 79. First down repeated.
Taylor gives him a little bit bigger target. He's 6'5", Erdman's 5'10".
It's the first game action for David Taylor in 1986. The 4th-round draft choice this year. Good protection for Hufnagel. Taylor's open, and Hufnagel just overthrew him. So it'll be second down and 5 from the 46. There's that big guy, 6'5", 235 pounds, out of Simon Fraser.
And talking to the Winnipeg coaches about him, they were very anxious to try and get him into the ball game tonight to see what he can do, because he's really impressed them during practice. Cal Murphy, as Dale has just mentioned, is used to making changes this year. Been a tremendous number for Winnipeg.
That's Taylor going in motion, number 79, on second and 5. Hufnagel looking for the short man. Sykes, he is drilled. The ball goes incomplete. Eddie Lowe, number 42, made the hit. And that's going to do it here in the first quarter. The gun sounds at the end of the first. The Saskatchewan Roughriders lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 7-0. We'll return with the second quarter in just a moment.
Don't you want to go? Now's the time. Feeling the heat. You're moving to the beat. Get moving to the highlight. Never highlight. You're moving, so give it. It's your turn now. So take it. Get moving to the highlight. Miller Highlight.
Miller Highlight. Cold and clean. Now in a twist cap.
General Motors' spectacular summer seat sale is here. 6.8% financing on new Pontiac Acadians, Fieros, Chevy Chevettes, and Novas. 9.9% financing and special deals on other selected new GM cars and pickups. Hurry, seats are going fast. Seat sale on for limited time only.
Richard Myers Scott.
Stadium for the second quarter, and the Blue Bombers having to punt on third down and 5, and a beautiful kick by Bob Cameron, sending the return man Joe Fuller back to his own 11-yard line, pinning him near the sidelines, and he's not going to get it out of there. Good coverage, great punt, 51 yards, no return.
Well, was that ever a great punt, Dale? Not just the fact that it was 51 yards, but he put it in the corner, and they could do nothing with it. Look at that total offense now. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers almost twice the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but of course the big number is at the bottom of your screen. The Riders have completed a great 88-yard drive. Winnipeg has self-destructed every time they move the football.
The Riders first down at their own 14-yard line. Joe Pow, the quarterback, and he gives to Bobby Johnson. James West wraps him up at the 20-yard line. It's a gain of 6 yards on first down for Saskatchewan, and the CFL's leading rusher, second down and 4. We're early in the second quarter.
Dale, in reference to that kick by Cameron, it was even more magnificent considering the wind has subsided quite a bit now. I think we're going to have an absolutely quiet time here about halftime.
Second down and 4. The pitch to Johnson. Across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. James West was over there for the Blue Bombers, and that'll bring on the punting unit, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 3rd and 2.
Good pursuit on both of those plays by the Winnipeg defensive team, who seemed to let down last week, Dale. It was rather strange, but they seem to be affected by Tom Clement's injury in the ball game last week. Saskatchewan just totally dominated the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the last half.
They asked Jack Go to that yesterday at the press conference if that was the turning point. He said, well, we didn't score 27 points against Tom Clements. We scored it against the Bomber defense. Gelbaugh hangs this one up high in that wind, and it's mishandled.
No yards.
There's a penalty flag down, and the Roughriders looked like they were within the 5 yards. A 49-yard punt into the breeze, and a penalty marker down. And looks like the Roughriders will be charged with no yards, and that's exactly right. 13:22 remaining in the second quarter. Saskatchewan in front of Winnipeg, 7-0. The Bombers have great field position, though. We'll be back in just a moment.
The All-Canada get it and forget it.
Yards on that last punt by Stan Gelbaugh, so it's first down Winnipeg at the Saskatchewan 45-yard line. Riders lead it 7-0 on a first quarter touchdown by Bobby Johnson. Hufnagel gives to James Sykes, trying to slip outside. Good defense there as Nick Hebler helped to wrap him up along with linebacker Billy Jackson. The gain maybe 3 yards on the play. Second down, 7. Coming up at halftime tonight, we'll take a look, of course, at the CFL this week, including highlights of last night's BC win over the Ottawa Roughriders, and welcome back Merv Fernandez. We have the Stars of the Week, ask the Commissioner, Doug Mitchell, and Frank will be around with first half analysis. Second down for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Hufnagel just got the pass away. Perry Tuttle coming across the middle, and he looks to have enough of first down inside the 35-yard line. Jackson Magruder over there defensively. His first catch of the ball game.
Richard Nemeth at that left tackle spot's having a really tough time with Wilburn, number 60. Watch him. Nemeth, number 62. There's Wilburn, number 60. Watch as they go back. He got right around and put big pressure on Hufnagel.
Okay, we'll get back to the live action. First down for Hufnagel. Throws, and it's complete. David Taylor makes his first catch of the season down the sideline, steps out of bounds. At the 14-yard line, Trent Bryant forcing him out.
I think he might be tough to knock down, though, Dale.
Yep, 19-yard gain for 6'5" David Taylor. Glenn Suter missed him, but Trent Bryant got enough of him to make him step out of bounds, although he kept on rolling towards the end zone.
Maybe that's one of the reasons the Winnipeg coaches want to see this guy in a ball game. Once he catches it, tough to knock down. 6'5", 235.
First down for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The ball near the 13-yard line. Hufnagel putting it up for Perry Tuttle. Interference in the end zone against Mike Magruder. It'll be first down and goal to go at the 1-yard line.
Well, these two ball clubs have traded very, very key interference calls in this opening quarter and a half, and this one will give Winnipeg excellent field position. Tuttle, who has had 14 receptions in the first two ball games against the Riders, once again a factor.
What was the combined total, Murphy and Tuttle, in games against Saskatchewan? 44 catches for 600 and some yards together?
32, I think, Dale. I think it was 18 for Murphy and 14 for Tuttle.
James Sykes has a touchdown for the Blue Bombers. James Sykes picking up his 4th touchdown of the season. The Bombers taking 2 minutes and 6 seconds for that touchdown drive. Again, a look at James Sykes.
James going over for the possible equalizer.
And it's a 45-yard drive in 4 plays. Joe Poplawski converting the touchdown. Poplawski handling the place-kicking duties for the Blue Bombers tonight. Trevor Kennard not due back from injury till September 28th. So the score is Winnipeg 7, Saskatchewan 7. And we'll be back in just a moment. A touchdown by James Sykes, tying the ball game up at 7 with 11:16 remaining in the second quarter. The Riders and the Bombers. Friday Night Football from Winnipeg Stadium. So it's Randy Faby to kick it off from his own 35. High but not too deep. Moving up to take it is Michael Elarms near his own 25-yard line. Elarm spins around, goes down, and there he's touched by Pat Kantner at about the 36. Next home game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders is coming up a week Sunday, the 14th of September. The Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Dale, I was just thinking during that Winnipeg drive and watching those fine receivers of theirs in action. They've got Jeff Boyd, their wandering son, back, but I wonder if he'll find a place to play.
I'm sure they'll make room for him. Talk here is that they'll move Tuttle inside. Pow on first down finds Elgard out there against Roy Bennett, trying to shake him off, but Delbert Fowler gets over there to help out. You're going to need two people to bring down Elgard as a rule, and he has a pickup of about 5 yards on the play out to the 42. Joe Pow, the starting quarterback tonight.
Both of these teams effectively moving the ball. You'd think we'd have more points than we do on the board. So far, 22 seconds you can see was the time left when Elgard caught the one against Winnipeg last week.
Bobby Johnson takes the pitch from Pow, cuts back. He's across the 45 to about the 47-yard line, where he's brought down by Arvu Bacher, number 60. He should have a first down, and he does. Bobby Johnson with a great burst when he does turn it upfield.
There's a great cutback, too. Bacher in his 4th year from Texas Tech. Good pursuit coming from the weak side. Johnson, of course, has the only major for the Saskatchewan Roughriders so far here tonight.
First down, Saskatchewan. The ball at the 47-yard line. The give is to Johnson. Again, he cuts back, gets to the 50, maybe the 51. Darrell Patterson was there, along with Delbert Fowler. So the gain is about 4 yards on the play. Riders have not won in Winnipeg since 1981. Pow out of the shotgun now on second down and 6. Puts it down the middle. It is intercepted and dropped by Roy Bennett. The intended receiver was Michael Elarms. And it'll bring up third down. The Roughriders have been intercepted only 10 times this year, as Frank mentioned in the opening quarter. That's the fewest number of interceptions against in the CFL. But they certainly got a break this time.
Well, that's 2 breaks, really, Dale. 2 balls that should have been picked off by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Should have doesn't change the ball game. 34-30, the Riders beat Winnipeg last week.
Stan Gelbaugh punting, this time a low end-over-end kick. Mishandled by Kevin Nealis. Bombers have been having trouble.
Drops
They lose
it again.
Ray Elgard has got the ball. He recovered a fumbled punt against the Bombers last Sunday, and he's now picked up another fumbled punt. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are first down at the Winnipeg 30-yard line. Here in the second quarter, we are tied at 7 with 8:39 remaining until halftime, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders have a break. We'll be right back. With a bit of a knuckleball, Kevin Nealis had trouble with it right from the start, lost control of it, and Elgard recovered it. So the Saskatchewan Roughriders at the Bomber 30.
Looks like it was Lowe that hit him, Dale, and he actually fumbled the ball twice on that play.
Inside handoff to Denny Ferdinand right up the middle. He will score. What a call by the Riders. 30-yard major.
Well, the Winnipeg defense once again gets caught in a blitz, and the middle just opens wide up. Watch this. The linebackers start coming on this side, and then they get a great block on Stan Mikwas in the middle there, and there's absolutely not a Bomber that touches him. Mikwas just tries to go around the block of offensive center Mike Anderson, and the hole is huge.
Ridgway converts the touchdown by Denny Ferdinand, and all of a sudden it's 14-7 as the Riders quickly capitalized on the fumbled punt. 30-yard touchdown run. I mentioned at the outset of the show, Frank, and you reiterated it, the Rough Rider coaching staff is just so thrilled at the play of Denny Ferdinand this year, and he's really helped open things up for Bobby Johnson, who leads the league in rushing. But Denny, from the 10-yard line in, he knew he was going to score.
Just a great block by Anderson, the offensive center. And how quickly this ball game changed around. The Riders having to punt it away from about their own 30. And in one play, after Kevin Neely's second fumble of this ball game, Ferdinand puts it in the end zone, and the Riders are 14-7 ahead.
Ferdinand's second touchdown of the season. He got his first last weekend against the Bombers. And he's given the Roughriders a 14-7 lead here with 8:20 remaining in the second quarter. So Dave Ridgway is set to kick it off from his own 35-yard line. Low line drive type of kick. This is James Jefferson on the return, number 20, carrying that football like a loaf of bread. He goes down when met by David Singh out at the 38-yard line. There is a penalty marker back at the 33. It is an illegal block against the Blue Bombers. That'll push them back deeper in their own end. We'll get the call from referee Ross Perry.
Illegal block. Winnipeg number 51. First down.
That is backup offensive lineman David Black, number 51, charged with the illegal block. So Huffnagel and the Bomber offense will begin this drive, first down from their own 23-yard line. Huffnagel, penalty marker down. Huffnagel cut from behind by Nick Hebler for a sack back at the 17-yard line. I think the Roughriders will take the sack and decline the holding call.
That'll be Nick Hebler's 6th sack of the year.
Let's go, take it off.
And you'll see that the Bombers were in trouble in any event. They were trying to hold on Hebler himself, and he just went right through the grab on the jersey.
Middle linebacker Gary Moulton supplying some pressure. Actually, it came from the outside, and he got up in front of Huffnagel, and he had to pull the ball down. That allowed Hebler to catch him from behind. So it is second down, and 16 yards to go for the Bombers, back at their own 17. Straight drop, sets up the screen to James Sykes, and Gary Lewis is there to bring him down, but it was a good job by Eddie Lowe to turn him back inside. And the Bombers will have to punt the ball away.
Bombers look right now, Dale, that they're really discouraged because they've moved the football extremely well, but they've just dropped it every time they get in any sort of good position.
Well, they're dropping it both offensively and defensively.
And
they could have had
a
couple of interceptions, and they're just not clicking right now. So it's Bob Cameron to punt from near his own 5-yard line. Big rush up the middle. But he gets the punt away, rather, and it is taken at the 45-yard line by Derek Zeno, and he is stopped as he crosses the 50 and pushed back by 3 or 4 Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That punt by Cameron traveling 48 yards. First down, Riders, good field position.
Should the Saskatchewan Roughriders win this football game tonight, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th place teams of the Western Division of the CFL will all be tied.
Bombers coming in at 5-4, as you see. Calgary with the bye. They're at 5-5. Saskatchewan at 4-5. Riders first down from their own 52. Pow gives to Bobby Johnson. He is wrapped up at midfield by Darrell Patterson, number 76.
Well, I want to show you an excellent block, Dale. Laurie Skolrud in his 13th year in the Canadian Football League, the big left offensive tackle. Watch the job he does to open this hole. He just folds things all the way down to the inside and creates a huge hole.
Let me correct
Dan Mikowas gets out there and stops it for a 3-yard gain, but great block by the big veteran.
Right. Mikowas instead of Patterson. Over the middle. David Conrad had that pass knocked away from him by Delbert Fowler. And it'll be third down. Roughriders looking for an interference call, but there are no flags on the play, so Saskatchewan will have to punt.
Kicking the ball has been a pretty good offensive play for the Riders so far tonight, though, because the Bombers have mishandled it so often. 6 minutes remain now in the first half of this ball game, which sees the Riders with a 7-point lead.
Kevin Nealis is out now as a punt returner, and this end-over-end kick from Gelbach goes to James Jefferson. Dives to the 30-yard line. A short kick and a very short return as well, 30 yards on the punt. So it is first down Bombers at their own 30. James Jefferson playing that right corner in place of the veteran David Shaw. 5:50 remaining in the first half. The Bombers have more offense here in the first half, but they trail 14-7.
And most of that was in the first quarter of the ball game. Bombers have completed almost 64% of their passes this year, by far the best in the CFL, but most of that, of course, was because of Tommy Clement.
First down, the pitch to James Sykes as they try to establish the run. Sykes bounces out of there. Look out. James Sykes being run down by Eddie Ray Walker inside the 25-yard line. '57-yard gain by James Sykes.
And what a great second effort, because Sykes was hit right at the line of scrimmage. And a good shot on him. I did not see who it was. It looked like a linebacker that came up and took the hit on Sykes. Let's see if we can pick out who it was.
Gary Moten, number 58, but he
Middle linebacker. He did not get his arms around him or his hands around him. A holding call against the Riders obviously will be declined by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We do have a Bomber down on the field as well. 57 yards.
Probably was a time when James Sykes would have taken that all the way, but at 31 years of age, I think he's lost a step or two, so Eddie Ray Walker came from way across the 23-yard line. David Taylor shaken up on the play.
Take a look at Taylor. Freddie Fleming, our ISO director, has it for you, and apparently Taylor takes quite a shot. It was from Eddie Moten, the fellow that put the hit on Sykes. He bothered Taylor, he didn't bother Sykes.
So the big play for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and now they're in scoring range. First down at the Saskatchewan 23-yard line as Winnipeg will attempt now to try and tie this ball game up once more with 4:40 left second quarter. Hufnagel going deep for Perry Tuttle, being watched by Bryant. Incomplete.
Well, you can hear what fans at Winnipeg Stadium think happened on the play.
There was definitely some bumping in the end zone.
I don't know if we're going to pick it up here as you see this ball come down. Actually, it looked like Tuttle was the first one to touch that football. Bryant was right there with him, but it will go as a long foul ball, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
Hufnagel on second down. Good protection, looking for Poplawski. He's got him at the 5-yard line. Great catch by Joe Poplawski. He picks up 18 yards.
Boy, Hufnagel is throwing this ball extremely well, Dale. I don't think I've seen him throw it this well in a year or two. Just right on the numbers. And Joe, with a very slow start earlier this year, has all of a sudden come into his own.
That was Joe Fuller that Poplawski beat, so it's first down and goal from inside the 5-yard line. Hufnagel put it up, puts it deep, and he threw it out of the end zone, intended for James Murphy. 2nd and goal. The coverage was there, so John wisely threw it deep, and figuring if Murphy can't get to it, nobody will, so it'll be 2nd down. Hufnagel getting his first start since October of 1985, and only his 5th start as a Winnipeg Blue Bomber. His record coming in is 1-3. Here's the 2nd down play. Hufnagel with the roll, putting it up high, knocked away by Eddie Ray Walker. I think John just hung it up there a little too far that time, allowed Walker to get over there. So it's 3rd down.
It appeared to me if John was so inclined, he might taken off with this football. Those two receivers awfully close together for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but an excellent defensive play by Eddie Ray Walker, who came up with 2 great plays on that drive, catching James Sykes from behind and knocking that football away from Joe Pop.
And he had a knockdown earlier in the first quarter. Joe Poplawski will now attempt the field goal, and he is now 2 for 2. As a field goal kicker in 1986, he connected earlier this year against Calgary from 38 yards out. And that cuts into the Saskatchewan lead. It's now 14-10. We'll be back in just a moment. Tom Clements, you see there with the jacket on. And, of course, he is gone for the season. Separated shoulder last week at Cedar Field. And he says he'll be back for 1987. A long list of veteran CFLers gone down with serious injury this year. It all started in preseason when Nick Araki and Bill Stevenson both gone for the season. Fernandez, of course, is now back, but guys like Flash, Reeves, Kennard, Ruoff, James Curry, a lot of very, very talented football players out of action. Bobby Johnson taking the pitch from Joe Powpow on first down from the 35-yard line. Benny Thompson bringing him down at the 34. It'll be 2nd down and 6 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Johnson with 35 yards rushing tonight and 1 touchdown, his 9th of the season, tying him with James Murphy for the touchdown lead in the CFL. 2 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Riders lead at 14-10. Penalty marker down, Powpow throwing, and it is almost picked off by Jefferson. And again, the Bombers look like they have an interception, but they let it slip through their hands.
I think that one would have been wiped out in any event on the offside call against the Bombers. It looked like Patterson, the linebacker, 76, jumped before the ball was snapped. You see him coming right up the middle here. He does not get back by the time the ball is snapped by Anderson.
Trying to anticipate the count.
Offside, Winnipeg number 57. 2nd down repeated.
Well, they say John Sturdivant was the man offside. I don't think Sturdivant moved. It was Patterson. So that gives the Riders a 5-yard gain. 2nd down over again. 1 yard to go for the first down. They're at their own 44. They try to go wide with Bobby Johnson. And he's got a first down and a whole lot more. He's into Winnipeg territory to the 52-yard line. Scott Flagel, the safety, getting over there to finally bring him down.
Good job of getting to the outside by Johnson, who, you know, presses every time out, Dale. He really comes up with a great effort. He gets about as much as anybody can get with the blocking that's in front of him.
They really went down to the Bomber 53, where it's Saskatchewan 1st and 10. Powpow to put it up off the play action, and he threw it short. This one will be picked off. James Jefferson with a big return now for Winnipeg. Finally forced out of bounds by Powpow at the Saskatchewan 37-yard line. There was a mix-up there between quarterback and receiver. Jefferson, his 2nd interception of the year, and he brings it back 40 yards.
Well, they could have 3 or 4 interceptions tonight. None of them were as easy as this one, as Powpow threw the football right to Jefferson. It looked like they misread Conrad, and he misread the defense or read it in a different way, and the ball was thrown right to Jefferson.
So now the Bombers offense out there. First down from the Saskatchewan 37-yard line. Hufnagel throws quickly, and it's Perry Tuttle making the catch at the 27. He's very close to a first down. As you look at James Jefferson, the man with the interception.
And a 40-yard return as he brought it back. He had only 1 interception this year prior to that play. That was a fine catch by Tuttle, who seemed to slip on the play, and they are marking it as a first down at the 27-yard line now of the Riders. 1:45 remains in this first half.
On first down, Hufnagel looking back to this side. Good catch by Perry Tuttle right in front of Trent Bryant. He's tackled immediately at the 17-yard line. It should be... Oh, they're going to measure it. Looked like it was enough for a first down from here, but they will get a measure.
Boy, Dale, he's coming on strong as well. Same as Joe Poplawski, because at first it was James Murphy carrying the whole load for the receivers. Tuttle came into this ball game with 44 catches for 671 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he's been a definite factor here in the second quarter.
And he's just a little bit short of a first down.
Which is probably what Winnipeg will prefer. They have a waste down here to either maybe throw it deep, try to get it in the end zone, or pick up even more yardage before they get a first down.
Winnipeg with the edge in first downs earned here tonight. Second and less than a yard to go. The give is to James Sykes. He had a big 57-yarder earlier. This time Eddie Ray Walker brings him down, but he's got a first down inside the Saskatchewan 15-yard line. 1:17 remaining now in the second quarter, and looks like most of the plays are being sent in from the bench now. They're shuffling their inside receivers. John Kehoe, Pat Cantner alternating. Jerome Erdman and David Taylor have been alternating too. First and 10 for the Bombers from the Rider 13-yard line. Hufnagel with the rollout action, puts it in the end zone. Touchdown, Terry Tuttle. And the Bombers have the lead.
Boy, that was just inside of the out-of-bounds marker. 14-yard touchdown reception by Tuttle, and once again a fine throw by John Hufnagel, and Bryant, who was the victim on the earlier touchdown throw, is beaten once again.
Took a minute and 6 seconds following the interception for the Bombers to put it in the end zone, and Joe Poplawski converts it. So now the Bombers have moved in front 17-14 with 53 seconds remaining in the second quarter. And the Winnipeg offense gets a big hand now on the 14-yard score by Tuttle. His 5th touchdown of the year, and John Hufnagel completed 3 passes in a row to Tuttle in that drive.
As many times as Winnipeg has turned that ball over and had penalties in this first half, it's almost surprising that they're ahead in this ball game. But the offense has actually moved the ball extremely well. Less than a minute remaining now in this first half. Winnipeg ahead by 3.
So it'll be Randy Faby to kick off from the Bomber 35-yard line. Elarms and Zeno are the return men for Saskatchewan. Bombers in front by 3 points. Faby is all set. Left-footed kicker. And this is Zeno waiting for it. 15-yard line. Zeno across the 30, out to the 33. James West in on the tackle. 18-yard return for Derek Zeno. So the Roughriders have time, 48 seconds until halftime, to move it into scoring range.
James Wild Wild West, one of the best you'll ever see on specialty teams. This time he uses a spin. Most of the time he just runs over people.
And makes the tackle. Pow with the handoff, the draw to Bobby Johnson across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Arbubacher, number 60, the defensive end, in on the tackle. So the gain is close to 5 yards on the play. Second down, Saskatchewan. Pow to Ray Elgard. The big guy makes the catch, and he is brought down by 3 Bombers at about the 49-yard line. It's 1st and 10 Saskatchewan. Benny Thompson was there. Ken Haley as well. Pow calling the plays right at the line of scrimmage. No huddle for Saskatchewan. 30 seconds remaining until halftime. Pow with all kinds of time finds Bobby Johnson, but he is hit immediately by Darrell Patterson, number 76. And there'll be very little gain, if any, on the play, possibly a yard.
Well, it's a great read by a linebacker to read that back going out to the flat like that and time his tackle so perfectly. That hurts Saskatchewan from a time point of view because the clock remains alive.
Ray Elgard is down on one knee, so they'll stop things here.
The clock at the south end of the stadium is showing just 19 seconds remaining now in this first half.
Elgard, of course, was shaken up in the first quarter when he was tackled by Benny Thompson right at the knees. And now Elgard's going to have to leave for one play again. And again, he has some words with Benny Thompson and some of the other Bomber defenders. Saskatchewan Roughriders are second down and a little less than 10 yards to go. The ball at their own 49-yard line. They trail 17-14 with 19 seconds left here in the second quarter. Joe Pau, the starting quarterback tonight, which was a bit of a surprise. The Riders had indicated yesterday that they would definitely go with Bernard Quarles again as the starter, which they've done the last 3 or 4 ball games. And Pau coming on in relief.
The clock has started, so we may see Saskatchewan just kill the time here. They're using an awful lot of the clock up, getting that ball into play.
Pau out of the shotgun, looking for Derek Zeno. He's got him. He steps out of bounds with 2 seconds left at the 48-yard line. And if they're thinking field goal, it's going to be a 55-yard effort by Dave Ridgway.
Well, they seem to use an awful lot of time there, Dale. They had enough time on the clock to get a couple of plays in. They did not get up over the ball very quick. Zeno uses the sideline extremely well and gets out very quickly.
So this should be the last play of the first half, and Glenn Suter will hold a 55-yard field goal attempt by Dave Ridgway. Has it got the distance? No, it doesn't. It's taken by Scott Flegel on the dead run. And he is stopped at the 15-yard line, and that'll do it here in the first half. So the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, with some pushing and shoving going on at the sound of the gun, the Bombers will head to the locker room, leading the visiting Saskatchewan Roughriders by a score of 17-14.
During the halftime, Dan Matheson will look at highlights of last night's Ottawa-BC game and some of the big plays from the first half of 1986. We'll hear again from Commissioner Doug Mitchell and also profile the Pacific Western Stars of the Week. This is Friday Night Football on CTV.
Winnipeg were sent scrambling this week to find adequate replacements for a couple of CFL veterans who are having standout years. The Bombers are badly going to miss quarterback Tom Clements. He's on the 60-day disabled list with a bum shoulder. He was having a Shenley-type year. Meanwhile, the Tiger Cats have lost Bernie Ruoff for the rest of the season with a badly damaged left knee. Bernie, one of the most respected kickers in the game, was handling both the place kicking and the punting duties for the Tabbies. And we look south of the border. The L.A. Rams have put quarterback Dieter Brock, who had several outstanding years with the Tiger Cats and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They have put him on their disabled list. He will miss at least 4 games to open the NFL season. Word out of California also has it that he might not have his job waiting for him when he gets back. Well, enough of that. Let's get to the highlights now. One game played last night in the Canadian Football League, Ottawa at BC. The Lions came into the game sporting the best record in the league, while the Riders were trying to put an end to a 7-game losing streak.
Last night also marked the first game back for wide receiver Mervyn Fernandez, and he wasted little time in making his presence felt. 3 minutes, 40 seconds into the first quarter, number 24 hauls in a Roy DeWalt pass for a 72-yard touchdown. BC up 7-3, over 40,000 fans are happy. Swervin' Mervyn is back. DeWalt finds the end zone again in the second frame from the Ottawa 25. He fires up the middle to Jan Carinci. He breaks tackles to lug it in. The Lions led 16-3 and looked impressive in the process. Though the Riders narrow the gap 5 minutes later on a play they have used with great frequency, young Tom Burgess hooks up with running back Robert Reed off punt formation. Reed completes a 55-yard scoring play. The Lions only had a 6-point margin with 4 minutes left in the first half. But the BC defense broke the Riders back late in the second frame. Mel Bird steps into the errant Burgess pass and returns it 31 yards for the major. The Riders would not score again. The Lions wrap up their 8th win of the year. Ottawa has lost 8 in a row.
And upcoming games in the Canadian Football League, a pair on Sunday. That age-old rivalry reheats in Toronto. It's the Tiger Cats against the Argonauts, while the Montreal Alouettes are in Edmonton to take on the Eskimos. Next Sunday, a couple of games. BC at Toronto, one you can watch here on CTV. And Saskatchewan's next home game, they play host to the Tiger Cats. This is CTV's Friday Night Football. Halftime continues in a moment.
wash free with a fill-up of gas.
Where?
Victoria Car Wash. For a limited time only, you can fill your tank with gas and get a regular wash for free. Full cleaning is just $6.46 with fill-up.
With Philip?
They do the work while you watch from the customer lounge, and they guarantee no damage to your car. The special ends soon at Victoria Car Wash on Gorge Road, a block from Douglas.
On September 19th, CTV has the Canadians and Oilers in Match of the Champions. Proceeds will go to cystic fibrosis research. Match of the Champions, September 19th on CTV.
In lineman categories are recognized as Pacific Western Airlines Stars of the Week. Winners from Week 10. Defensive star Billy Jackson, number 45 of Saskatchewan. His interception and 30-yard return stalled a Winnipeg drive as the Roughies went on to win 34-30. Lineman star of the week went to Edmonton's number 92, James Zachary. His 4 sacks contributed to an impressive 42-19 victory over Calgary. Ray Elgard, number 81 for the Western Riders, caught the offensive star, along with 8 passes, 2 for touchdowns, as Saskatchewan avenged an earlier loss to the Bombers. Tonight, CTV Profile reviews the first-half winners and early challengers for Stars of the Year honors. In the defensive category, teammates Daryl Nicholson and Chris Sigler were early winners from the Ottawa Roughriders. Hamilton was represented by Mark Streeter and Les Brown, who together have accounted for 13 interceptions so far in 86. Stampeder linebacker Anthony Woodson won in Week 4, while Argonaut rookie Willie Pless earned stardom in Week 6. Rounding out the defensive stars were Winnipeg's James West, the ever-present Tyrone Cruz of the BC Lions, and 10-year CFL veteran Terry Irvin of the Alouettes. The early leader in the lineman competition is BC's James Quick Parker. He has 2 firsts. The up-and-coming Stampeders placed 2 weekly winners in Harold Hallman and Vince Goldsmith. Representing the tough Hamilton defensive line, sack leader Mike Walker, while Ottawa's Lloyd Lewis earned early season recognition. Brett the Toaster Williams has given the Alouettes a strong candidate, and 2 offensive linemen complete this category, with Rudy Phillips from Edmonton and the towering Chris Walby of Winnipeg starring for their pass protection and blocking skills. Quarterbacks earned 4 of the offensive stars in the first half, with Condridge Holloway representing the Argonauts, while the versatile Matt Dunnigan has provided strong leadership for the Eskimos. Sharing the league lead in most completions with 173 is the wily Blue Bomber pivot Tom Clements, along with Calgary's rising star Rick Johnson, who has passed for over 2,500 yards already in 86. The running game has not gone unrecognized, with Winnipeg's Willard Reeves and the only 2-time offensive star Gary Allen of the Stampeders catching the judge's eye. BC's Mervyn Fernandez, along with Ray Elgard, were the only receivers capturing first-place votes, while the outstanding special teams play of Darnell Clash earned the defensive back a unique distinction. This Stars of the Week first-half review is brought to you by Pacific Western Airlines, proud to bring you the Grey Cup 100 contest again this year. This is CTV's Friday Night Football. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are playing host to the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and we are at halftime. Regular viewers of the CFL on CTV are aware that if your question is chosen for our Ask the Commissioner segment, the CFL will send you an official Spalding J5B football. Well, one is now on its way to California, Long Beach, California. Terry Hogue lives there, and he's a big fan of the CFL. He writes in to say he watches the games on ESPN, and he wants to know if fans can purchase official CFL licensed products and whether or not there's a catalog. Doug Mitchell.
We don't have a catalog yet, Dan. One will be out before the 1987 season, but we have started a national licensing program. All of the CFL merchandise is available at stadiums across Canada. It's also available at the CFL head office, and we hope to be able to finalize a transaction with a department store, which will put a CFL store in every department store across Canada. So it's looking like it's going to be a national program the next couple of weeks.
What about aiming at the young market? You know how kids love little figurines and dolls and the like?
G.I. Joe dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have that. They're looking at that for the 1987 season. As you know, it's our 75th Grey Cup game next year, and the 87 Grey Cup game, we're looking at kicking that off for the 87 Grey Cup game.
Licensed products are on their way. If you would like to ask the commissioner, here's the address, Bay Street in Toronto, and we get back to our football game.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. Of course, marketing a big part of any sports league or team these days, and the CFL starting to come on very strongly with that. Statistically, in the first half, total net yards, 250 for Winnipeg and 160 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And, of course, the Blue Bombers are leading the Roughriders 17-14. The only difference in the ball game at this point, a field goal, really, and that was by Joe Poplawski. Each team has 2 touchdowns, Frank, and it was Saskatchewan taking the lead, the Bombers coming back to get it.
Well, Dale, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers started off like they were going to move the ball extremely well offensively, but Billy Jackson came up with a big play very early in the ball game, stripping James Sykes of the football down about the 10-yard line, and Saskatchewan turned around and put a great offensive drive together, going 88 yards and capping it off with a 6-yard run from Johnson for the first touchdown of this ball game. Here it is, as you see Jackson slip around, Johnson, I should say, slip around to the outside, and the Riders left 7-0 at the end of the first quarter.
We'll pick it up in the second quarter now, and this will be an interference call against the Saskatchewan Roughriders' Mike Magruder, as he working against Perry Tuttle deep in the end zone, and Magruder makes contact. The ball's in the air. It put the ball at the 1-yard line. Sykes put it in the end zone to tie it.
Winnipeg then picked up a field goal at Saskatchewan on a first down from the 30-yard line after Nelly's fumble, put them ahead 14-7. I should say Winnipeg got the field goal after this touchdown. It was 14-7 for the Riders, and then they got that field goal, and at last they got a turnover as Jefferson intercepted Joe Paopao, and John Huffnagel found Tuttle in the end zone. So the Winnipeg Blue Bombers go ahead of the Saskatchewan Roughriders after the first 30 minutes in a good football game, 17-14.
Okay, now it's time to move over to Saskatchewan Roughrider General Manager Bill Quinter. The Roughriders have always been leaders, Bill, in the CFL when it comes to marketing their product and supporting this football club through various fundraising efforts. A unique one this year. I know you're happy to announce that it's completely sold out, the Friends of the Riders Lotto.
Well, that's right, Dale, and I'd like to especially thank Ted Ernest, who spearheaded the Friends of the Riders Lotto, and all the people who purchased the tickets. We appreciate your support, and it's going to go a long way to helping us reduce our deficit.
How much money will the club realize from this lottery?
Probably between $400,000 and $450,000 profit.
Okay, Bill, thank you very much. Again, the Saskatchewan Roughrider fans supporting their football team as no other in the CFL. It is sold out. The Friends of the Riders Lottery, the first draw, takes place next Sunday, September 14th against Hamilton.
And the Saskatchewan Roughriders will kick off to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The Riders will have that favoring wind to start this third quarter.
And on the return, this is Darrell Sampson bringing it back to the Bombers' 40-yard line. It looked for a moment that he had some room to go, but the Riders do bring him down at the 40. There is a penalty marker, however, back at the 30-yard line, as you take another look at the return by young Darrell Sampson, who is, of course, a rookie out of the York University, and a backup
Major
defensive
foul.
back.
Winnipeg, number 75. Major foul, unnecessary roughness, 58 Saskatchewan. First down.
Okay, major fouls each way, so the ball will stay at the 41-yard line. The Bombers lead it 17-14. And we're just underway here in the third quarter. Winnipeg, 1st and 10.
Well, this first half ended with a little bad blood, Dale. It looks like it's continuing right into the third quarter. John Huffnagel continues at quarterback for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as expected.
Huffnagel looking quickly to James Murphy, and he makes the catch, and Trent Bryant is there very quickly to make the tackle near the 50-yard line, so the gain is close to 8 yards on the play for Murphy. CFL's leading receiver in terms of passes caught coming into the ball game with 67, 9 of them for touchdowns.
It's interesting, Dale, you know, on a play like that, a quarterback and a wide receiver will have a signal to each other if they think that corner is laying off too quick. They'll use that play quite often.
2nd down and 2. James Sykes again has good running yardage. Finally hauled down by Glenn Suter at the Saskatchewan 39-yard line. James Sykes having himself a good night. You indicated earlier they wanted that from their running game.
Dale, I thought it was absolutely essential, as I said in the pregame show, that Sykes at least is a threat in this football game. And because of his own efforts on a 57-yard gain earlier, that certainly started it. And this big gain is 23 yards.
23-yard gain. It is now first down from the Saskatchewan 39-yard line. Hufnagel looking quickly to James Murphy. He's got him inside the 30, the 25, and wrestled out of bounds by Trent Bryant at the 24-yard line.
Trent Bryant really laid off of Murphy on that play, and Murphy thought he was going to be hit. He had time to turn around and move upfield, a 15-yard gain, and Winnipeg starts off the second half as they started the early part of this ball game, moving the ball very effective offensively.
Great looking drive by Winnipeg to start this third quarter. Quickly they're at the Saskatchewan 24-yard line. Hufnagel, the starting quarterback, into the middle, caught by Murphy, touchdown Winnipeg.
Well, Murphy's having a field day against the rookie from Arkansas, Trent Bryant, number 17. He just goes down this time and cuts it to the inside on a quick post pattern. You can believe that Hufnagel saw that pressure coming from his right side, got rid of the ball with perfect timing, and Murphy steps into the end zone with his 10th touchdown, 24 yards.
2 minutes and 6 seconds the Bombers used up in the clock here in the third quarter, and they increased their lead now to 10 points over the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 24-14. And James Murphy on the receiving end of that John Hufnagel touchdown pass.
That's got to be a little demoralizing to Saskatchewan, Dale, because Winnipeg did that drive right into the wind, and they'll have the wind in the fourth quarter.
You know, it's interesting how the game last Sunday seemed to go. The Bombers got into that big 23-7 lead, and then seemed late in the second quarter. Roughriders started to get some things going and then continued in the second half. And here tonight, the Bombers were down 14-7 and 14-10, took the lead late in the second quarter and come out here in the third quarter and put it in the end zone on their opening drive. And they certainly have old momentum going their way right now.
Well, Winnipeg actually has moved the ball very well all night, Dale. As you know, it's just been a matter of self-destructing offensively, dropping the football, both offense and defense.
The kickoff from Randy Faby goes to Michael Elarms at his own 21-yard line. A little undecided about where he wants to go. Gets past Vernon Paul, but then he's surrounded right at the 30-yard line for just a 9-yard return by Michael Elarms. On that touchdown by Perry Tuttle in the second quarter, Hufnagel completed 3 passes in a row to Tuttle and got the major score. In this drive, he completed 3 passes in a row to Murphy and then got the touchdown.
And I believe, Dale, in the opening drive of this football game, he completed 3 in a row to Murphy. So
exactly.
He better stay with one receiver on each drive.
Working well for him. First down Riders from their own 30-yard line. Joe Paupau, who started the ball game at quarterback, hands off to Denny Ferdinand, and James West is there to bring Ferdinand down for a loss on the play.
Well, this is what the the Saskatchewan Roughriders did so well in the first half. They picked up those blitzes by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Not so on this occasion. West just snuck up there on a blitz and was right in the backfield. Nobody touched him. Boy, they seem intent on blitzing Joe Paupau on virtually every play.
It's second and long. About 11 yards to go. Shotgun formation. Paupau going deep for James Ellingson, and he overthrows him near the 45-yard line of Winnipeg, and that'll bring up third down. And the Roughriders, unable to move it, will have to punt.
Well, on the far side of the field, Mike McTagg was 30 yards behind the defender as he had slipped and fallen. James Jefferson. Paupau went to the other side, did not see McTagg. He was 30 yards from any Blue Bomber.
So here's Stan Gilbaugh to punt, his second game with Saskatchewan. Big rush up the middle, and he hangs it high. It'll carry with the wind. Jefferson at his own 41-yard line, and he is stopped almost immediately at the 44. Downfield to make contact with him, Steve Crane, a rookie linebacker. 3-yard return after a 40-yard punt. Bombers lead by 10. We'll be right back.
Discussions about the CFL at your home or office, this is the vehicle for you. Get the CFL Facts and Figures book. It's got everything you'd ever want to know about the league yesterday and today. There's the address to send, 1200 Bay Street, 12th floor in Toronto for Facts and Figures, CFL 86.
First down for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at their own 44-yard line. They lead at 24-14, third quarter at Winnipeg Stadium. John Hufnagel fakes the hitch screen to Murphy, goes to Jerome Erdman, who was open, but he couldn't hang on to the football. And he had a first down at the Saskatchewan 47-yard line, working against Eddie Ray Walker. But it'll be second down and 10, and Erdman will come out of the ball game, and Big David Tater checks back in.
Great evening by John Hufnagel so far. 16 of 23 now, but that ball obviously dropped on him. You see his stats for the evening. A great night for John Hufnagel as the starter for Winnipeg.
Second down and 10, putting it up deep for Murphy, and he drops the football.
Oh, boy.
Whoa.
John should be
Doing for non-support here.
He should be 18 of 24, but he's not. Two straight drops by the Winnipeg receivers, and this ball looked to be right on the money.
He had Trent Bryant beaten.
You can't put it out there any better than that.
So Murphy heads to the bench, and Bob Cameron is on to punt on 3rd and 10. John Hufnagel.
That Bryant's not going to know what to do. He tries to play him tight. They go deep on him.
Big rush against Cameron. The ball kicks left and out of bounds right at the Saskatchewan 35-yard line. Zeno with no chance whatsoever for a return. 31-yard punt by Bob Cameron. So the Roughriders with the ball back here in the third quarter, thanks to a couple of drop passes by Winnipeg receivers. So the Roughriders are going to have to come up with something here to kind of turn things around in their favor again. They did have a 14-7 lead in the second quarter. Bombers came back to go to the dressing room ahead 17-14. They've added a touchdown by Murphy here in the third to lead 24-14. Pow looks quickly to the sidelines, and Derek Zeno was there, and Mike McTagg wasn't too far away, and it looked like
the ball went right between the two of them. Neither one of them knew who it was for, I don't think.
So it'll be second down and 10.
Again, you saw Fowler at the bottom of your screen blitzing Joe Pow, and Joe has burnt them on a couple occasions on those blitzes, but they continue to do it.
Out of the shotgun now on second down and 10. Going to the sideline, Zeno makes the catch. He stood there on his tiptoes and made the catch in bounds. And he comes up with an injury, his left wrist. 12-yard gain for a first down.
Excellent play by Zeno as the ball was delivered right at the sideline.
He had the ball cradled in his left arm, and that's where he landed. Zeno heads right to the other side of the field to the Rough Rider bench.
Over a 200-yard day in yardage against Winnipeg last week. Zeno, who only had 19 receptions so far this year, 6 of them last week against Winnipeg.
So McTagg goes out wide, and Ellington is in a slot now. Pow in a bit of trouble, but he got away from it. Looking downfield, he throws. There's a penalty marker down. Now, I'm not sure who they're going to call here because Mike McTagg was pushing on the defensive back. I think he thought Pow was going to run it himself. No, it's interference Winnipeg. Oh, no. The Bomber bench is going wild.
Boy, this is unbelievable. Watch this, how Bernie Thompson just goes in there absolutely untouched until he gets in the backfield, and Joe Pow is able to get away from this rush. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers not at all happy about this call, but an excellent play by Pow to even get this football away. Looked like McTagg had been hitting the defender, but I think the infraction actually called was before that.
So it's a first down. Riders at midfield. Pow throws to Bobby Johnson, and he goes down at the Bomber 48-yard line. There is a penalty flag down.
I think you're going to have holding against the Riders.
Well, that'll settle the crowd down again a little bit. They were very unhappy with that interference call.
Well, I think they only saw the last 20% of the play. That's what happened.
Well, this is going to put the ball back at the Saskatchewan 45.
Holding. Saskatchewan number 64. First down repeated.
That's Ken Moore, the right tackle, who's playing his third game in place of the injured Vic Stevenson. Ken Moore, former Calgary Stampeder that came over to Saskatchewan last year in a multiplayer deal.
Played a little fullback for the Calgary Stampeders for a while, too.
Okay, it's first down and 20 for the Riders at their own 45. Deep for Elarms. What a great play by Roy Bennett. Unbelievable interception. Roy Bennett comes up with his 5th interception of the year, a one-handed job.
Boy, and none prettier than that. If he had not timed that perfectly, that ball would have been a touchdown going the other way. Winnipeg gets a turnover, and they lead by 10. We'll be back in just a moment.
The Bombers' defensive backs were having trouble with interceptions with both hands. Now Bennett comes up with a one-hander here off of Joe Pau. That was Elarms in behind him. But Bennett stole it. So it's first down for the Bombers at their own 44-yard line. James Sykes up the middle. Steve Wilburn brought him down 51-yard line. A pickup of about 7 yards on the play. James Sykes now has carried 9 times for 114 yards. Of course, he had one for 57 yards in the second quarter.
The deal, he came into the ball game only having 117 yards for the year, not having played that much, of course.
Second down. Hufnagel going deep for Perry Tuttle. Working against Mike Magruder. He had got inside of Magruder, but the pass was overthrown, and it'll be 3rd and 3 for the Bombers. So the punting unit comes on. Seven and a half minutes remaining here in the third quarter. Bombers in front, 24-14, and punting it away. Bob Cameron saying, get somebody else out here.
Dale, I might mention that Bernard Quarles has been throwing on the sideline for Saskatchewan. We might see a quarterback change. We might not.
And Cameron let the 20-second clock wind down, and he'll take the 5-yard penalty, and James West was the man missing on that punt team, and he finally checks in.
Time count violation, Winnipeg number 6.
Well, I think it's just as smart to take the penalty, Dale, as to take a chance on getting the ball blocked against them. There's 7:18 remaining. Cameron will kick it away now. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers leading 24-14.
Riders do have 11 men up at the line. The only deep man is Zeno. Cameron, good kick into the breeze. Zeno on the return to the 30-yard line. 41-yard punt and a 7-yard return. Next telecast on CTV is coming up 1 week from Sunday, the 14th of September. The division leaders will be clashing in Toronto. The BC Lions against the Argonauts. And note the start time, 1:30 Eastern and 10:30 Pacific time. Sunday, September 14th, the Lions and the Argonauts on CTV. First down for the Saskatchewan Roughriders at their own 30-yard line, and Bernard Quarles is now in at quarterback for Saskatchewan. The give is to Denny Ferdinand. He slipped the first tackle. Tracy Mack got back into the game, or into the play at least, to make the tackle for a yard of 2 yards loss on the play.
Tracy Mack, the rookie linebacker on the outside there, number 61, just got great penetration. Didn't let the offensive play get started, and the loss will be close to 2 yards. Mack is from the University of Missouri, and you'll see him coming in there, 61.
He's the man replacing Tyrone Jones for the second straight game. It's second down and 12 for the Riders, now at their 28-yard line. Here's Quarles, just got the pass away. Ken Haley, number 24 on the halfback blitz. And the Bomber defense forces the Riders to punt.
Well, that Haley wants to hit people, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
This game is almost the exact opposite of last week so far in the second half. Last week, the Riders dominated Winnipeg, particularly when they had the football almost totally. Now they've not been able to move it.
Dan Gelbaugh with the punt. And the return men misplay it. Goes between them back to the 25-yard line. This is Kevin Nealis, and he finds an opening and brings it back out to the 40 where he's stopped by David Conrad. Good job by Nealis to bring that football back 13 yards. The punt traveled 54. Winnipeg leads it 24-14, and we'll be back in just a moment. 5 left to play in the third quarter here in Winnipeg. I want to remind you of tomorrow's lineup on CTV's Wide World of Sports, Australian Rules Football from Melbourne, Australia. Molsey Indy Time Trials, the San Air Indy coming up on Sunday. We'll have the time trials for you tomorrow. General Motors Imperial Race from San Air, Quebec as well. And we'll also have some Spruce Meadows action, the Smirnoff Cup, tomorrow from Calgary. That's on CTV's Wide World of Sports. Winnipeg, 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. They give us to James Sykes, and he popped them, but not enough to bring them down, and Sykes gets out to the 49-yard line for a pickup of 9 more.
Aren't you glad we picked him out before the ball game, Dale, and talked about the need for Sykes to have such a big day? What an effort. Spun away from Moulton, the middle linebacker, at the line of scrimmage, and he's doing an awful lot of that on his own. That 57-yarder you saw in the first half was due mostly to his effort.
So it's 2nd down and 1, and Sykes again with the football. Moulton and Joe Fuller team up this time to bring him down right at the 51. And it's a 1st down for the Blue Bombers.
Well, that's a double bonus for Winnipeg to be able to run a couple of plays and pick up a 1st down as they're going against this breeze in the third quarter. They only have another 4 minutes and 30 seconds to do that.
Gary Moulton has now gone down on one knee. And we'll have a stoppage in play here for Moulton to be taken off the field. Talking with trainer Ivan Goodfriend.
You know, Dale, I was asking Jocko yesterday whether or not he thought it was an advantage or a disadvantage to play the same team back-to-back. And it was interesting because at first he said, you know, I really don't have a strong opinion. But after he thought about it for a while, he says, you know, I don't think I like doing it. I'd rather have a different team to prepare for and play them later. Maybe he foresaw something.
Hufnagel is almost intercepted by Mike Magruder. The pass intended for Sean Kehoe. And I don't think Hufnagel saw the defensive back at all. Mike Magruder, number 28, out of Kent State. First year with Saskatchewan.
Winnipeg's had a lot more success throwing against the rookie on the other side, Trent Bryant from Arkansas, and they have Magruder. Although Magruder was called for an interference call in the end zone against Tuttle, which resulted in a touchdown.
2nd down and 10. Penalty marker down. Pass intended for big David Taylor. It was a little too far from him, and the Roughriders may have been offside. Looked like Joe Fuller coming on the halfback blitz jumped the gun. The early indication is offside Saskatchewan as we see Gary Moulton come back into the ball game, and Steve Crane, the rookie out of Acadia, will lead. So the Bombers will get another shot at it here.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 24.
Rider defense has done a pretty good job, though, Dale, in this third quarter. Since that first drive that Winnipeg put the major on the board, Winnipeg has not been able to have a consistent offense since then.
You're right. Hufnagel hasn't completed a pass since that last touchdown. He's looking at 2nd and 5, just inside Rider territory. He completes this one to Joe Poplawski, and he takes it down to the 41-yard line. The tackle by Glenn Suter, the safety. A pickup of 13 yards.
You know what's interesting about this kind of play? You watch the offensive line. They all have to fire out very quickly to keep those big defensive linemen's hands down to throw that kind of pattern.
First down, Hufnagel going to James Murphy, and he just got one hand on it. And Trent Bryant was giving James Murphy a lot of room. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Freddie Fleming, our ISO director, had taken a look at Trent Bryant just to see how close he's prepared to play James Murphy. Not very. Look at this. They've thrown it underneath him and behind him and everywhere they wanted to so far this evening. Fellow looks like he's having a good time.
2nd and 10, Winnipeg. The ball at the Saskatchewan 41. 2:45 remaining third quarter. Bombers hoping to add to their 10-point lead. Joe Fuller went up and knocked this one away. Joe Poplawski, the intended receiver. Jerome Erdman was in the area as well. And it'll be 3rd down and 10.
This is a place on the field, Dale, where they definitely would miss Trevor Kennard. Joe Poplawski does not have the leg to attempt a field goal from this far away. It would be about a 47, 48-yard kick. So I'm sure what they're going to try to do is have Bob Cameron come in here and try to kick the ball out of bounds.
Cal Murphy admitted his decision to go with Poplawski would cost him distance, but he felt that from 40 yards in that Poplawski had more accuracy, and that's why they went with him. Now it's Bob Cameron in punting formation. And he'll put this one up deep, and it'll bounce in the end zone. That is Joe Fuller, a couple of yards deep, and he'll give up the single point. So it is now...
I'm a little surprised he didn't try to kick that ball out of bounds inside the 10-yard line or so.
43-yard punt for a single. It is now 25-14 in favor of Winnipeg with 2:14 left in the third quarter.
Just a little item of interest of trivia. Poplawski, of course, better known as a receiver than a kicker until the problems arose, but the reason he's a pretty potent kicker is that was his sport. He grew up in Edmonton as a soccer star prior to playing football. He was actually better at soccer than football until he got to be about 17.
Well, he's yet to miss as a kicker out.
First down Riders from their 35. Denny Ferdinand takes the handoff from Bernard Quarles straight up the middle. He's got 7, close to 8 yards on the play. We told you earlier about the Sanair Indy time trials that are coming up tomorrow on Wide World of Sports. And on Sunday, September the 7th, 12 noon Eastern time, we'll have the Molson Indy Sanair race itself on the full CTV network, a sports special, Sunday, 12 noon Eastern. It is 2nd down and about 3 yards to go for the Riders. The give is to Ferdinand again, and he's got maybe a couple, but he'll be short of the first down. John Sturdivant making the tackle along with Arbubacher.
This is tough decision time for Jack Cotta. I don't think he's in a position really where he can gamble at this point. He's a good 1.5 yards short of that first down. Gelbaugh, the third quarterback, and Hunter is on the field. Saskatchewan's had a tough time, as Dale mentioned earlier, with their kicking game this year. They've averaged only 40.8. They're tied for the last place in the league with, surprisingly, the BC Lions in terms of their average kick.
Direct snap to Denny Ferdinand as they gambled and lost. The Riders gamble on 3rd down with the direct snap to Ferdinand. That is Pat Kantner who got in there to help on the tackle, but I think really Roy Bennett initially made the play defensively as he pinched in from the outside.
He did. He got the penetration from the outside, the left side of your screen there, and that's a big turnover for the last minute of the third quarter.
The Bombers take over at the Saskatchewan 42-yard line. Hufnagel looking for Tuttle, cuts inside of Magruder. First down Bombers as Billy Jackson brings them down at the 25-yard line. 18-yard gain for Winnipeg. Boy, exciting wide receivers these Bombers have got, and they've got Jeff Boyd coming back, too. First down from the Rider 24, the pitch to James Sykes. Turns the corner, goes out of bounds with it at the 16-yard line for a gain of 8 yards on the play.
Well, Dale, you made the point when Sykes was caught from behind by Eddie Ray Walker earlier in this ball game that maybe he's lost a step or two, but he hasn't lost that ability to find the opening. Big, big night for James Sykes.
This will be the last play of the third quarter coming up here. The Bombers looking at 2nd and 2. From the Rider 16-yard line. fake to James Sykes. Hufnagel, end zone, tipped away at the last possible moment by Mike Magruder, saving a touchdown to end the third quarter. The gun is sounded. After 3, it is Winnipeg 25 and Saskatchewan 14. We'll return with the fourth quarter in just a moment. He will be attempting a 23-yard field goal. If successful, it will give the Bombers a lead of 2 converted touchdowns. The kick is up. It is no good. Now, wait a minute. One guy signaled that it was. The other guy waved it off. Now, what happened here? Joe Poplawski wants to know what happened. He was shooting for a 3 for 3 in field goals in 1986, but I don't think he made that one.
Well, apparently he did, Dale. They're putting the ball at the 25-yard line.
Well, if it's successful. Well, there's no point on the play or nothing.
Well, there should be a single point.
Well, it should be, but there's been no signal by anybody. Well, it should be a 26-14 ball game if he missed it. The scoreboard clock still says 25. Here's Quarles throwing for Bobby Johnson with a penalty marker down. The Roughriders scrimmaging from their own 25-yard line.
Well, certainly they got to get a single if they don't get the 3 points. Taking a look statistically at this ball game, you can see that Winnipeg has dominated it now after 3 quarters of play, having almost 400 yards of total offense. The Bombers are going to be penalized 15 yards on that first down play.
Major foul, face mask, Winnipeg number 58.
James West called for grabbing the face mask, and I'm still a little confused here.
Well,
I wonder, did that ball hit the upright? Is that why they... Oh, it went off the upright. Okay, then there was a dead ball then. No wonder there's no single point on it. Quarles guns it downfield to Michael Elarms at the 55-yard line for a first down. Well, we got it straight. The official did indicate like it was a tip off the upright, which automatically kills the football.
Well, maybe that's why Joe Poplawski wasn't sure that he had missed the ball, or was claiming he didn't miss it.
Boy, if it hit the upright, it just brushed it.
Well, it certainly did. Didn't change direction at all.
Not at all. So it's still a 25-14 ball game. The Riders first down at midfield. Quarles looking to throw quickly, and he guns it to Michael Elarms, and he has trouble hanging on to it. It'll be second down and 10.
Wouldn't that be a horrible way to lose a football game when you try a field goal from only 23 yards out, and even if you miss it, you get a single point. But because it touched the...
I wish we could bring that one back again. I'd like to see that.
Well, the official right underneath the goalpost was very quick to call it no good.
So it's second down and 10 Riders from the 55-yard line. Quarles throwing for McTagg, and it's a little too high. Coverage there by Ken Haley at the 35-yard line, so the Roughriders will have to punt the ball away, and really they need something in the way of a turnover or something to get them going again. They had a 14-7 lead in the second quarter, but it's been all Winnipeg since then. Actually, it was a lot of Winnipeg even up till that point, but the Bombers were mishandling the football and turning it over. But they've settled down and now have an 11-point lead, and we're in the fourth quarter with 13 minutes left. Gelbaugh punting, a big rush on him, and I think Roy Bennett got a piece of it. It bounces to Kevin Nealis at the 30-yard line, and he is brought down at the 35 by Steve Crane, helped out by Joe Fuller. The punt, 25 yards after the partial block by Bennett, the return of 5. Bombers have the ball, and they lead by 11. We'll be back in just a moment. Into the fourth quarter here in Winnipeg. The Bombers in front of Saskatchewan by 11 points. And Winnipeg first and 10 from their own 35-yard line. Bomber fans, and looks like some Rough Rider fans here as well. John Hufnagel all the way tonight at quarterback for Winnipeg. His first start since October of last year. Goes to James Murphy, little sideline pattern. Steps out of bounds with it, 44-yard line, a gain of 9, second and 1. James Murphy with the 1 touchdown tonight, giving him 10 on the season. He is the CFL leader in touchdowns scored.
And that makes 25 receptions in the 3 ball games against the Saskatchewan Roughriders in 1986. He's had a field day against the Riders.
The give is to James Sykes. He needed 1. He's got 6 or 7 yards as he gets out across the 50-yard line. Glenn Suter and Gary Moten finally brought him down. A big night for Sykes as well here for Winnipeg. He's gone over 100 yards rushing.
Watch number 63, second from the top there. That's Walby, 6'7", 290, working against Steve Wilburn, who's 40 pounds lighter. Did a good job.
First down for the Bombers, just across their own 50. The blitz is on, and Eddie Ray Walker hit Hufnagel but didn't wrap him up. Hufnagel legs it out of bounds at the Saskatchewan bench for a gain of maybe a yard on the play. Unbelievable. Eddie Ray Walker had a beat on him, hit him, but didn't knock him down.
I'll tell you one thing. They're lucky, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are, that this wasn't a turnover. Look at that shoulder go right into the ball. Guys have fumbled with a lot smaller hits than that.
I don't know why Walker wouldn't try and wrap Hufnagel up rather than just putting a shoulder into it.
Well, if he'd have grabbed for the football, he might have been going the other way.
Turns into a 1-yard gain for the Bombers. 2nd down and 9. Baby goes in motion, number 73. Straight drop for Hufnagel, and Gary Lewis this time makes sure, and he wraps up Hufnagel and brings him down back at the 47-yard line. A loss of about 3 or 4 on the play. The first sack.
I think that
Hebler
had a sack earlier, 6th of the year.
That's 2nd sack, first sack of the 2nd half.
Both these ball clubs came in with only 29 sacks in total for the year. Only the Toronto Argonauts had less than that.
So it's 3rd down and about 13 yards to go. So Bob Cameron is on to punt, and the Riders have 2 men back this time. Powering kick by Cameron. Derek Zeno at the 11-yard line, surrounded at the 15 and brought down. Great hang time, 52-yard punt, and a return of 4. So the Riders will have to start deep in their own end. They trail by 11. We'll be right back. Tonight's game here in Winnipeg. The Roughriders return home tomorrow morning and start getting ready for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who have all of a sudden started to put things together in 1986. Hamilton, of course, will play in Toronto this Sunday, but they'll be at Taylor Field in Regina Sunday, September 14th, a 1:30 start against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And right now, the Riders at their own 15-yard line, 1st and 10. Bernard Quarles at quarterback, replacing starter Joe Paupau here in the 2nd half. 10.5 minutes to go. Bombers lead by 11. The give is to Bobby Johnson. Darrell Patterson is there, number 76, and just no running room whatsoever for Bobby Johnson.
Well, Johnson tried to cut back again, which he's been so very effective on earlier in this ball game, but Winnipeg had great pursuit from the weak side.
2 games this Sunday in the CFL. It's Hamilton at Toronto, 1:30 Eastern time. The other game is Montreal at Edmonton, a 2 o'clock start at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. Second down, penalty marker. Denny Ferdinand has the ball. He loses it. Who's got it? I think Ferdinand may have got it back, but it looks like Bombers may be offside. That's the early indication.
I think James Sykes jumped offside, number 58.
West, you mean?
James West. I don't think Sykes was playing defense. He's doing almost everything else, but watch West. James trying to get in there a little quick.
Bomber defense has really done the job this half. They've limited the Saskatchewan offense to just 32 yards.
And they've totally stopped their passing game,
Winnipeg
Dale.
number 58, 2nd down repeated.
Well, they've got a good situation here. At least they have a 2nd and 5. 9:40 remains, so they've got to get it together.
Quarles on 2nd down, in big trouble. You can credit Tracy Mack with the early pressure, then Hassan Arbubakar finished them off.
You know, this Tracy Mack is a big, big linebacker. He's 230 pounds, and he's extremely aggressive. We've seen him get excellent penetration 2 or 3 times, and this was really a great pressure play by the rookie linebacker. Watch number 61. He comes to the outside. He keeps his leverage on the quarterback, makes him stay in that pocket, and he does not make the sack, but he makes the pressure that makes Quarles get out of there.
So the Riders are punting from deep in their own end. That is Gelbaugh standing at the 1-yard line, and is he going to throw or give up a safety touch? He's going to give up a safety touch, and the Riders will have to kick it off as well as give up 2 points. So it's now a 27-14 ball game, and the Roughriders will be kicking off. And we'll be back to Winnipeg Stadium in just a moment. The next telecast on CTV coming up Sunday, September 14th. The West Division leading BC Lions will meet the East Division leading Argonauts in Toronto. 1:30 start Eastern time. That's 10:30 a.m. Pacific time on the full CTV network.
Well, Dale, I'm still aghast at that play a moment ago. Gelbaugh not only gave up the safety, but he wasted time running back. I'd have to think there must have been an option involved, because he ran over and talked to Coach Goda, and they discussed it as if he had passed up a passing option.
So Ridgway kicks it off from the 35-yard line, which, of course, he puts a lot deeper than the punt would have traveled. And this is Nealis on the return, and I think that's exactly what the Riders were looking for, was to push the Bombers back on their own side of midfield with a kickoff rather than a punt from near the goal line. It was a 55-yard kickoff and a return of 15, and the Riders now trail by 13 instead of 11, so really they still have to score twice anyway.
They gained about 30 yards with that decision in field position.
I agree, but why not go down instantly in the end zone? They need the time, too.
Very appropriately said, Mr. McCann.
So the Bombers are first down from their own 36-yard line. Huffnagel, the draw to James Sykes. Again, Sykes has good yardage. He's out to the 43 for a pickup of 7. I want to remind Calgary fans that the University of Calgary Dinosaurs, the defending Vanier Cup champions, they'll be hosting the University of Manitoba Bisons tomorrow afternoon, 1:30 at McMahon Stadium. And, of course, the Dinosaurs got off to a good start last week with their victory over Saskatchewan, and picked by many to be the team to beat in the West again. Tomorrow, 1:30 at McMahon Stadium, Calgary against Manitoba. Second down for the Blue Bombers. Sykes again, and he's got a hole once more. Breaks a couple of tackles. He's into Saskatchewan Roughrider territory to the 51-yard line before Glenn Suter finally brings him down. Gain of 16 for Sykes.
Well, what a night he's having. Over 150 yards now, easily on the ground, but a good job again by the offensive line of allowing him to slip to the outside. The ball is moved all the way down to the Rider 51-yard line, and time's a-wasting for the Riders.
Huffnagel puts it up. Oh, what a great catch by James Murphy. And there's a penalty flag as well. They're going to bring it back, holding against the Blue Bombers. 21-yard game by number 21, wiped out by penalty.
Sykes unofficially 157 yards so far. I think that was Nick Vastaya, that was number 65, that will be singled out on this one.
Holding. Winnipeg number 65, first down repeated.
Well, since early in the second quarter, the momentum swung over to the Bombers, and they've hung on to it. The Roughriders haven't had much going their way at all. Joe Paopao replaced by Quarles, and now Paopao loosening up at the bench once more. He may be coming back in. Right now it's 1st and 20 for the Bombers. The ball at their own 49. Huffnagel in a bit of trouble, flips it off to James Sykes, and he dropped it. He tried to make a move to get around the defender before he squeezed the football, and Eddie Lowe, right on top of him, helps to break up the play.
Well, the key to this ball game, Dale, is exactly what we talked about before it started. The fact that John Huffnagel has not had a lot of pressure on him. The reason being that they have not been able to just tee off on that offensive line, because James Sykes has just had an unbelievable night. The best game he's had in at least 2 or 3 years.
3 years. Second down and 20 for Winnipeg. Four-man rush, great protection for Hufnagel. Down the middle he goes, complete to Sean Kehoe to the Rider 48-yard line, but he'll be about 7 yards short of the first down. 13-yard pickup.
Again, good time to throw the ball. Good job by Mark Moore. Mark Moore is the offensive center that time.
So what the Bombers accomplish here is get it across midfield. It's time to punt.
And they
the
wasted
Riders
a lot of time.
Yep. And the way their defense has been playing.
And the way this young guy has been kicking in this second half.
Nice high punt. It'll go into the end zone and probably all the way through for a single point by Bob Cameron. 68-yard single for Cameron. It is now 28-14. The Bombers lead by 2 converted touchdowns with 6:26 remaining in the ball game.
Those kickers love that when the receivers let it bounce. That adds to that yardage. 68 yards for Cameron.
That should be the longest kick of the year for Bob Cameron, I do believe.
Powell at quarterback.
Here's Powell back at the controls. Into the middle to Bobby Johnson. And he is brought down immediately. Darrell Patterson. James West may have got a piece of him as well. The gain is 3 yards. Second down, not even 3. It's second down and 8.
Abubakar in there pressuring Powell. The Riders do not have many more chances with only 5:40 remaining in this ball game.
Out of the shotgun now on 2nd and 8 from the 37-yard line. Powell down the middle for Mike McTagg, and it was underthrown. Ken Haley providing the coverage. It'll be 3rd down. The Riders will have to punt it away.
Excellent job all night long by the Bombers defensive backfield.
Really, since that 30-yard touchdown run by Denny Ferdinand in the second quarter, giving the Riders a 14-7 lead, the Bomber defense has just stopped them cold.
It seemed like ever since Ray Elgard got hit from the back and kind of had a slight injury to a leg, that the passing attack of the Riders has just not been that big a threat.
James Jefferson with the return, stepping out of bounds at the Winnipeg 51-yard line. That punt, 28 yards by Gelbaugh and a return of 6. Jefferson with a bit of a limp. Gelbaugh in his second game with Saskatchewan. 3rd string quarterback. And now handling their punting chores. He won a punting derby a little over a week ago against Zenon Andrusician and Mike McTagg. That's how he won the spot to be the Riders punter. First down Bombers at their own 50. Hufnagel once more. Wide open, Joe Poplawski inside the 15-yard line. "48-yard gain for Joe Poplawski."
Hill, you remember when we came in here about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I believe it was a game against the Ottawa Roughriders, there were people complaining that Joe Poplawski was just not being that productive. All of a sudden he had a huge night, and ever since he's been a big factor. Almost 100 yards in receptions tonight, and Winnipeg puts this one in. This ball game will be put away for the Bombers.
Hufnagel with the straight drop. Coming inside is Murphy, and he can't squeeze the football. Mike Magruder was there to break it up. Murphy a little slow to get up, and maybe not for a minute or two. John Hufnagel has thrown the ball so well tonight. He's had some dropped on him, and he still has the great stats for this evening.
You're absolutely right, Dale. You'll recall one point in the third quarter where John has had time to throw the football. That is always the key.
So Murphy's down in the end zone. We have 4 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the ball game. The Bombers threatening to add to their 14-point lead. Second down and 10 from the Rider 12 is checking Murphy's right ankle. He has 1 touchdown tonight, his 10th of the season. And as we mentioned at the start of the broadcast tonight, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers announced that wide receiver Jeff Boyd has agreed to contract terms, so he'll be back in Winnipeg in the next day or two. And Cal Murphy will have to decide how he's going to work these receivers now. The talk is that they'll move Tuttle inside in place of Erdman, and Murphy and Boyd would then be the wide receivers. Of course, that might mess up your ratio, imports and non-imports, but they will make the adjustment, I'm sure. On second down, Hufnagel in the middle, Poplawski, touchdown. 12-yard score, and the Bombers have put this one away.
Well, the Bombers have to be close to 500 yards in total offense, with Hufnagel well over 300 yards now throwing the ball, and Sykes over 150 yards running it.
Boy, the Bombers are so tough at home. I mean, they just seem to be a totally different football team. A little over a minute, they moved the ball 60 yards in 4 plays, and Joe Poplawski converts his own touchdown. And the Blue Bombers are out in front, 35-14. The Blue Bombers at home are looking at their 5th straight victory of 1986. On the road, though, the Bombers have a record of 1-4.
Unofficially, that total offense figure is about 480 yards. But officially, because one thing you can say, the Bombers have averaged slightly over 40 points a game in their 3 meetings with the Riders in 1986.
And Saskatchewan held a 14-7 lead in the second quarter. The Bombers took the lead before halftime, 17-14. And now Winnipeg leads it 35-14. So the Roughriders have not scored at all since early in the second quarter. The kickoff by Winnipeg to Michael Elarms at his own 18-yard line. Runs into his own man, David Conrad, and then is dropped at the 32. Return of 14 yards.
Bill, you know how teams have talked for years and years how tough it is to go into Taylor Field and win. You're going to be saying that about Winnipeg Stadium.
That's for sure. John Hufnagel last threw for over 300 yards against Edmonton October 18th, 1985 in a 37-18 decision. And he's over 300 again tonight. He's at 327.
You know, some days it's going for you, some days it isn't. Last week, you'll recall, Cal Murphy's Bombers lost to Saskatchewan and also lost Tommy Clements. This week, it looks like they're going to win the football game, and they were a little concerned, of course, about James Murphy's injury, but it's not serious. He twisted his ankle, and they're taping it up. He'll be all right.
That is backup quarterback Tom Mickey.
Rookie from Baylor, 6'1", 195-pounder. Very, very strong arm.
You see the spelling of it, M-U-E-C-K-E. It is pronounced Mickey, Tom Mickey, out of Baylor. Jim Zorn, of course, is the number 3 quarterback tonight and not expected to see any action. Right now, it's the Riders with the football at their own 32-yard line. Pow out a shotgun. Just got the ball away and almost completed it to Bobby Johnson, and Ken Haley on the halfback blitz laid a big hit on Pow.
I'll tell you, when this young guy comes in on a blitz, he is coming to get to somebody and hit him. Watch him. Absolutely a fair hit. He didn't try to stick that helmet in his back. He just tried to get in there as quickly as possible. That's why he leads the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in tackles for the year. A very aggressive defensive back.
On second and 10, Pow guns it to James Ellingson, and Ellingson makes the catch very close to first down yardage, and I think that is Ellingson's first catch in his CFL career. 35-14, Winnipeg over Saskatchewan. We'll be right back.
seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers this evening are going to move their record to 6-4 for the year, move into a second-place tie with the Edmonton Eskimos. 2 games behind the league-leading BC Lions. As Saskatchewan out of a shotgun formation, start with a first down at their own 43-yard line. Excellent catch by Alarms as he moves all the way into Winnipeg territory to the 43-yard line. Saskatchewan by no means conceding this victory. A 21-yard gain. Joe Pau remaining at quarterback. He was replaced a little earlier by Bernard Quarles. And the Riders will once again come from a shotgun formation. Mike McTagg this time on the right side of the Winnipeg defensive group, and it's very close to another first down for Saskatchewan as they pick up their second consecutive first down, or appear to have.
Frank, if when Winnipeg gets the ball back, I fully anticipate we'll see a new quarterback. They're warming up both Mickey and also Jim Zorn. But Mickey has his jacket off. I would guess it'll be him.
I would think so, too, Al. He is taking snaps from the starting offensive center, Mark Moores. And Zorn, as you know, has only been in town for a couple of days. We were told by Cal Murphy that he knows about 10 plays that he's really comfortable with. In a pinch, he could go into the ball game, but they had no intention of using him unless the other 2 quarterbacks did go down.
Thanks, Riggs. I'm back, and here's Pau to the shotgun going deep for Mike McTagg. And again, coverage is there by Ken Haley. McTagg having to reach back for it. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 from the Bomber 37-yard line. 2:15 remaining in the football game. As you take another look at that pass.
I was having a lot of fun there, Dale. I was going to take your job for good.
Delbert Fowler is the injured Blue Bomber on the play. So we'll have things held up for just a moment. Fowler having problems with that right leg. Taped up, as you can see. Looks like he's been operating with a groin pull for a while anyway.
This game has been relatively injury-free, at least it would appear to have been. You never know that for sure until later after the ball game or even tomorrow.
35-14 for the Blue Bombers. And they'll be going to Calgary next Thursday. Last year, these same 2 clubs hooked up in a good one at Taylor Field on Labor Day. The Bombers winning by 8, and then it was another blowout here in Winnipeg, 49-3 for the Bombers. The Riders, of course, have not won here since 1981, and they won't win here tonight. Here's Pau going down. James West getting to him, and there is a penalty flag down, holding against Saskatchewan anyway.
I'll tell you one reason that James West made that sack and didn't go just flying by Joe Pau, and that's because he's so doggone strong. He's got huge upper body strength.
Declined, 3rd down.
And he just got a piece of Joe Pau's jersey and was able to pull him down on the way by.
Third and 21 as the Bombers take the sack and decline the penalty.
Watch West as he's going by. Just one little grip actually on his hip. Just spun him around, threw him down.
Look out, Tracy Mack.
Joe took quite a blow in the back of the head. And the young linebacker who's been so aggressive in his initial start with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Well, the Bombers here at home, they get you down. They show no mercy. The Bombers will take over, and Tom Mickey, the rookie quarterback, will see his first action. He was actually injured in training camp, and the Bombers had Homer Jordan as their 3rd quarterback, and they released Jordan last week and put Mickey on the roster for the Labor Day weekend game in Regina. And of course, with the injury to Tom Clements, everybody moves up a notch. And Mickey, in his first play from scrimmage, hands off to James Sykes to the 45-yard line. And a pickup of about 5 yards on the play. Tom Mickey, the rookie out of Baylor.
Just a great job, Dale, I want to say, for John Hufnagel in the start tonight under pretty tough conditions, because he knew he really didn't have any experience at all backing him up. An excellent job by the Winnipeg offensive line of giving him time to throw the football.
Mickey with the rollout action and hits Joe Poplawski for a big gain to the 30-yard line, where Trent Bryant finally brings him down. A pickup of 15 yards, and the young quarterback put a lot of zip on that football. A lot of people wondering what the Bombers would be like without Clements, without Willard Reeves. Hufnagel's come in, done a super job. Sykes has had a great night.
Well, if anybody's had to deal with adversity, losing their stars offensively, it's certainly been Winnipeg.
First down from the 30-yard line. Sykes again. Spinning off a tackle. Gets inside the 25. Down to about the 23-yard line.
Sykes now unofficially has over 174 yards, is it now, Bob? 171. Well, it's a bunch. We know that for sure.
And ripping up the Saskatchewan defense tonight. Second down and 3. Mickey put it up. Looking for Jerome Erdman. Just tipped away by Trent Bryant at the last second.
So there's a young man that's going to be happy when this ball game is over. Young Trent Bryant, they have picked on him all night long.
Actually, Trent Bryant is 27 years of age in his first year in the CFL, but he has pro experience in the U.S. Football League. He's actually been in pro football 4 years now.
Interesting here as Joe Poplawski's going to try another field goal.
A 30-yarder.
Getting a little practice.
Bob Cameron, the holder. The kick by Poplawski. And this time it is good. 38-14. The Bombers over Saskatchewan. 36 seconds remaining in the ball game. Joe Poplawski. Good on 3 out of 4 this year. So the Riders out over the football at their own 35. And Pau Pau stays in there as the quarterback. Throws to Zeno, giving him lots of room. Pushed out of bounds by James Jefferson. First down out at the 48. A pickup of 13 yards. Pop out to Johnson. Slips one tackle. Spun around and brought down by Darrell Patterson at the Bomber 50-yard line. It's all very nice, but a little too little, too late.
Just 23 seconds showing on the clock now.
Well, after that touchdown by Ferdinand, the Roughriders really didn't do a thing. That Bomber defense just shut them down totally.
Well, you know, they got a couple of turnovers very early in this ball game. This might have been really a disastrous night for them.
That was Elarms making the catch at the Bomber 41-yard line. Gain of 9 on the play. Second down and 1 with 12 seconds left. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will be in Calgary next Thursday, September the 11th. Saskatchewan's next home game against Hamilton on Sunday, September the 14th. And with the victory tonight, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will improve their record to 6-4 and tied with the Edmonton Eskimos for second place. The Eskimos will play at home this Sunday against Montreal. Pow going deep. Zeno going high in the air, and Roy Bennett was up there as well to knock it away.
A blustery, cool evening here in Winnipeg for early September. Feels a little bit more like early November.
This stat just handed to me. Sykes' rushing total tonight officially is 174 yards. It's the 6th best performance in Bomber history.
And I'll bet you an old buddy of mine, Leo Lewis, had a couple of those were a little better. Yes, sir. One for 178, one for 179. But Willard Reeves had 2 nights over 220. One 220 and one 221.
Pow airing it out again on 3rd down. Trying to go to Michael Elarms and Roy Bennett as the defensive backs were playing way back there. And with 1 second left, the ball will go over to the Blue Bombers. He had a quick shot at head coach Jack Goda. Came in here with high hopes tonight after the way they came back and won last Sunday over Winnipeg. But the Bombers at home are something else.
Just 1 second on the clock now, so the Bombers offensive team will have to go out once more and just kill off this last moment. And a warm round of appreciation for this Bomber team from the fans that are still here.
All right, we'll get a look at Jim Zorn now. He'll be taking part in his very first CFL game. After 10 years in the National Football League, he hands off to James Sykes, who rips off another 15-yard gain. He's going to end up
about
with
17 yards, so that makes it 191 for the night.
Gary Moten made the stop, and Jack Goda will cross the field to shake hands with Cal Murphy as the gun sounds to end this football game. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have wiped out the Saskatchewan Roughriders 38-14. You look again at the last run by James Sykes, and what a night for him.
Jim Zorn says, this is an easy game. I like this Canadian game. 38-14 as Winnipeg really destroys the Riders. Al McCann's going to have head coach Cal Murphy, and I'm sure a very happy one as we look statistically, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers over 500 yards of total offense. Let's go down to Alan Murphy.
Well, okay, Frank, I've got Coach Cal Murphy with me. Cal, congratulations on a very impressive win, particularly an impressive second half.
Yeah, I think, you know, we had some close ones in the first half. We played pretty darn good football, and, you know, but they're a pretty good football team as well. And I think when we came out in the 3rd quarter, we put together a very good drive, and it kind of gave us some tempo. The other thing is our defense shut down the running game.
And John Huffnagel, you know, coming in under a lot of pressure, he's been a relief man for you, really coming out of the bullpen. What a starter he turned out to be. He called a nice game, mixed his running plays well.
Well, I feel good about it because that's why he's here, and that's why he has been here, because he is a darn good football player and a real competitor. And, you know, he's had a lot of pressure on him this week, and I feel really good for him.
It's a long time, Cal, since we've seen James Sykes have such a big evening. Do you know he got over 190 yards rushing?
You're kidding. It reminds me of how he's gotten better every game out as he's played, you know. And I think tonight he started to look like the James Sykes that he was in training camp. And I think that layoff, you know, between training camp and before he had to play, I think it hurt him a little bit.
You know, your defensive team, the offense getting a lot of accolades. The defense played awfully well. They shut Saskatchewan down completely in the second half. They got a lot of heat on the quarterback. Used the defensive back blitz a few times. Haley did a masterful job.
Yeah, that's one thing we did do this time. We got a lot of heat on him. Last week we didn't get any heat on. The other thing, I think we started coming up in front of his face, which we didn't do on the weekend. And I think that helped us out a lot. And then I think our secondary played pretty darn well as well.
You made a lot of news this week, and you got, I was glad to see you got Tom Mickey and Jim Zorn into the ballgame. Jim only got 1 second, mind you.
That's right. It was really funny because I said, we get the ball back with, at 31 seconds. When we get the ball back, you're going in. And, you know, he kind of looked at me, and he says, I'm going. And so with 1 second to go, they said, hey, Zorn, you might get a chance yet. So he got it.
Jeff Boyd is in town. You've signed him again, Cal. The way your receivers are operating, Jeff's going to have trouble getting in your lineup.
Well, it's a nice problem, isn't it?
It is a good problem. Congratulations, Cal. Good win.
Okay, thanks a lot.
We're going to be back with the players of the game in just a moment. This is Friday Night Football on CTV.
This year, something special is happening in the Canadian Football League. Each team is going to play one regular season game for the Heart Fund. Support the Heart Fund game in your city by purchasing your tickets at specially designated outlets. That way, 50% of your ticket price will go directly to the Canadian Heart Foundation. Watch for further ticket and game information. The Heart Fund game. For many people, it's the game of a lifetime.
A&B Sound always has Western Canada's largest selection of records, tapes, and compact discs, all at the best prices. Want proof? Peter Gabriel, So, only $5.94. Steve Winwood, Back in the High Life, just $5.94. For the best selection, prices, and values on records, tapes, and compact discs, come to the leader. Come to A&B Sound today.
Nestled in the heart of the heritage and character of Victoria's James Bay is a delightful dining experience, Beau Richards. This Victorian home, circa 1884, retains its charm while offering guests light and delicious fare affordably priced. Beau Richards Restaurant lends itself equally well to a casual lunch or an intimate dinner. And upstairs, the Rose and Crown, a perfect place to meet where the menu's light and easy all day long. Vintage character, contemporary cuisine. Beau Richards Restaurant on Simcoe Street in the heart of Victoria's James Bay.
Good night.
And now, the Carling O'Keefe Sports offensive and defensive game stars as selected by our broadcast crew. From the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, running back James Sykes with 190 yards rushing, the offensive star. And also from the Bombers, defensive halfback Ken Haley, who made big plays all over the field, the defensive star. Each of today's stars receive a Royal Canadian Mint 1-ounce solid gold coin, presented by Nikon. For once-in-a-lifetime shots, the Nikon One Touch, the simplest Nikon 35mm ever. And by Tilly, bringing together quality and creativity in all their products, from their line of personal leather goods through to their travel wear. This is CTV's Friday Night Football.
Good night. Glad to see the pioneer spirits alive and well in Canada, just like Oz. Cooking over open fires, roughing it under canvas, and you got the old fossils to make it bearable. And you lucky beggars. They're selling the liquid gold for the same price as your regular brew. Just as well, too. Looks like some of you still have to go out and trap your own coats. Good on you, love.
Foster's, Australian for beer, now brewed here.
Some people think we're magicians, but at Selco's Furniture and Appliances, there's no trick.
Because Selco's in Victoria and Campbell River carries Mitsubishi, a name you can trust for televisions, VCRs, and stereos. When island families want service, they come to Selco's. And when they want quality, they ask for Mitsubishi.
At Selco's, we've been turning houses into homes since 1968. Selco's Furniture and Appliances in Victoria and Campbell River.
Okay, we're here with the offensive star of the game, James Sykes, who had a tremendous evening. James, 190 yards unofficially rushing. It's a while since you've had that many yards in one game. Must go back 3-4 years.
Oh, I go back at least 4 years. I think the last game I played, I rushed for 150 yards, and I hadn't ran the ball since. And I'm pretty pleased with my outcome. And the offensive line just really blocked super, and they was just asking to run the ball, because they was ready to block. Everything worked out.
You guys had a good offensive game plan because I thought Huffnagel mixed the passing and running game very, very well, kept Saskatchewan off balance all night.
Yeah, that's something that he did tonight different than he did last week, and he said that we would go with the game plan this week. We was behind. We got behind last week in the third quarter, and it got away from the game plan. But this week, we stuck with our game plan throughout the game.
You got to feel good about what happened tonight, James, and yet a little frustrated about the way the season's gone for you guys. You've had your good ones and then your not-so-good ones.
Yeah, we had kind of a seesaw-type season so far. I think 4 games is probably more than we lost in the last 3 years I've been here, and we're just going to have to get things together and play 60 minutes of football every time out.
Did the cold weather bother you at all? Of course, you're used to it. Now, you've played up here a long time.
No, cold weather don't bother me at all. I really like the cold weather, really.
It must make you feel good, though, to get a good offensive performance yourself and see the whole team play so well.
Yeah, it made me feel real good, as far as the team-wise, because we needed this as a team, and it really, really fit in well tonight.
James, congratulations. Let's move over to defense now. The guy who had a heck of a game, Ken Haley, playing that defensive back position. I saw you come with a couple of defensive back blitzes. Near the end of the game, you really got in there and nailed it.
Yeah, I got there too late, though. He got the ball off, but I wish I was there a second sooner, and I had the sack.
Ken, the defensive plan seemed to work awfully well. I don't know, did you make any adjustments? Because in the second half, you shut them down totally.
Not really. We just played aggressive ball and flew to the ball, and we didn't give up the big plays like we gave the last game. So with the defense playing the way that we can, I don't think there's anyone that can stop us.
Yeah, your front was getting good pressure. Your linebackers were helping out, and you guys were sliding off and stopping their passing game. You took away their wideouts completely.
Right. We have some great corners out there, and they did their job, and the line got in there, so quarterback can't get the ball off if he's got people in his face.
Well, you're in pretty good shape again, you Bombers. You're back in the thick of the battle for second place right now. Isn't this a wild Western League?
It definitely is. It's very competitive, and that's what makes football.
Ken, congratulations on an outstanding game. Best luck rest of the season, and thanks for staying around.
Okay, thank you.
Kenny Haley and also James Sykes, our stars of the game. Let's go upstairs.
Okay, Al, thank you very much. The Saskatchewan Roughriders, Frank, had a 14-7 lead in the second quarter. Then the Bombers scored 31 straight points to put them away again here in Winnipeg.
Well, if there was any surprise tonight as far as us viewing the football game, I think it was the offensive performance of the Bombers. Defensively, we know they have an excellent team, but they just came up with outstanding plays all night long. This was an early touchdown in the third quarter by Murphy, 24 yards, and put the Bombers ahead 24-14. A very impressive drive to start the third quarter out with. And this great interception by Roy Bennett.
Watch this one-handed play. I mean, Elarms is in behind him. Bennett just cuts across, one-hands it, makes the interception, and kills a potential drive for Saskatchewan.
And Dale, if there was one further key play in this second half, I think it was this one when Saskatchewan gambled on 3rd and 2, and certainly I thought the odds were with them gambling at this point in time. The call was a good one, but Winnipeg defensively were ready for them. It was still only 25-14 when Winnipeg caused that turnover. Now you're going to see Joe Poplawski at his best, and a great example of how Huffnagel threw the ball all night long. Joe Pop had close to 100 yards in receptions again, over 500 yards of total offense tonight by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and without Willard Reeves and without Tom Clements, I think that was a surprise, if anything at all, here this evening.
And the Bombers go on to beat the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The final score, losses tied with Edmonton for second.
This program is copyright and is strictly intended for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the CTV television network is strictly prohibited.
This is the CTV.
We look at some of the other scores. And
Garfield turns one way, the ball goes the other, ends up in the wall. Hasse ends up on second with 2 runs batted in. But in the Jays, in the 4th inning, the Jays get to Steve Carlton for 3 runs. Willie Upshaw knocks in 2 of those with this single, and it was 3-2 Jays, and that was it. That was the ball game for Carlton. He left. Clancy, well, he stuck around for a while. He left in the 7th, though. He gave up 7 walks in the game, so I guess it's appropriate that the Jays walked in a run here to lose the ball game. Mark Eichhorn in relief, 2 out, the bases loaded. He walks Jerry Hairston, and that was a winning run.
Coming from behind, it was 25-23 Toronto over the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That leaves Toronto now with a 7-3 record. Hamilton drops to 4-6. And Edmonton, revenging a loss to Montreal earlier in the season, defeat the Alouettes 37-22. Edmonton now 7-3. Montreal, the poorest team in the country, at 2 wins and 8 losses. Now with the...
More the idea is if you don't get to the quarterback, make him throw that football before he wants to. Make him throw it, as Sims did a moment ago.
So the first decent drive of the night stops at the 19. A 37-yard field goal attempt for Bob Thomas.
That's his range.
But no good. So Ali Haji Sheikh hurt most of last year, then injured again in preseason this year. They signed Thomas.